Please revise what we have done yesterday. Last week. Last week we touched upon Companies Act. We completed Companies Act, and then we started with breach of contract, and then we went on to complete contingent contracts and quasi contracts. Okay, I'll give you 10 minutes time. Now time is 10:18. Okay, 10:28. Try to revise at least breach of contract and quasi contract, contingent contract. Okay, please revise ma. Please revise. When I ask you to revise, what should come to your mind? நம்ம எதெல்லாம் பாக்ஸ் பண்ணி வச்சோமோ கீவேர்ட்ஸ்னு அதெல்லாம் நீங்கள் வந்து படிப்போம், சரியா? Then go to side headings and then try to memorize. Okay, 10 minutes time for you. Please revise. See, நம்ம கிளாஸ் அட்டென்ட் பண்ணிகிட்டே இருக்கிறது பெரிய விஷயம் இல்லை. கிளாஸ் அட்டென்ட் பண்ணி முடிச்சதுக்கப்புறம் படிக்கணும், அதுதான் பெரிய விஷயம். அதுதான் நம்மளுக்கு பாஸ் பண்ணதுக்கு ஹெல்ப் பண்ணும். ப்ளீஸ் ரிவைஸ் மா, ப்ளீஸ் ரிவைஸ். And one small reminder from the institute's end, have you all paid the fees? What fees are? Class fees da? Okay, online people, have you all paid the fees? If you have not paid, please remind your parents, get the fees amount and kindly make the payment. Okay, ask Ari sir in what mode you have to make the payment and then complete the payment. Okay, but before that, tell me, are you all feeling satisfied? More than satisfied? நீங்க அதுன்னடா யோசிச்சு சொல்ற நீ வா. ஒருத்தர் சொன்னா எல்லாருமே அதுதான். சரி கேட்கலாம். ஆன்லைன் பீப்புள், are you, see, we are paying how much pa? 3,000 and something or 3,000? 3,000, correcta? For this 3,000, first heartfully we should make payment. அப்படின்னா we should know whether இந்த பணம் நம்ம கொடுக்கறதுக்கு நம்ம வர்த்தா, நம்மளுக்கு வர்த்தான ரிசீப்ட் கிடைக்குதா. ஓகே, tell me, for the payment of fees which we made, are you satisfied about the classes? First of all, online people, இங்க இருக்கவங்க எல்லாரும் சொல்லிட்டாங்க ஆன்லைன் பீப்புள். குட். வாட் என்ன சொல்றது, எல்லா சப்ஜெக்ட்டுமே கரெக்டா? Are you feeling anything that is left back? மேம் இதை நீங்க பண்ணீங்கன்னா இன்னும் சூப்பரா இருக்கும். சரி, ஆஃப் ஆயிடுச்சு. Anything that you feel left back? Ma'am, if you are doing this, then it will be much better, or something can be done on this area also. அந்த மாதிரி ஏதாவது ஃபீலிங் இருக்கா? But I have a feeling. Okay, என்ன அப்படின்னா, so far we could not conduct any proper test. Okay, why? Because the focus is on to complete the syllabus, so we are not able to have test. But it doesn't mean you should stop studying. Okay, we will have our full-fledged model exam. Those who are paying 3,000 will get 2 model exams. Those who are paying 2,700 will get 1 model exam. And these model exams should ideally start somewhere after April 25th. So April 25th to 30 kulla or schedule will be over. அதே போல் May 1st இருந்து May 6th or 7th குள்ள second schedule will be over. Okay, maybe one subject you will not have any leave. அது எந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்னு you decide. எக்கனாமிக்ஸ்லாம் எல்லாமே என் கையில் இருக்குது மேடம், அதனால லீவ் தராதீங்க. வாட் எவர் யூ சே, we will not have continuous exam will be there for one exam, so that we will try to complete the exams within a short span of time. Thereafter we will be straight moving into exams only. சரியா? So whatever is completed before April 20th, with regard to law paper, I think max also you are comfortable, right? Max பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் you have asked only on topics what you are not feeling comfortable only will be taken inside the class. இல்லையா? அதுதான் நீங்களும் கேட்டிருக்கீங்க, மேடமும் அதுதான் எடுத்துகிட்டு போகிறாங்க. Comfortably it will be over by April 20th. With regard to my subject also, I am planning to complete before April 20. Contract Act full-ஆவே முடிஞ்சிடும். This Contract Act ICA we will try to complete within this week itself. Okay, this week itself, so that we will be left with Sale of Goods Act, அதுக்கப்புறம் Partnership Act Unit 2. Okay, if this is complete அப்படின்னா, I want you to have one full revision before we start with the exams. அப்போ நான் April 20th குள்ள முடிச்சிட்டேன் அப்படின்னா, still you will have 5 days for the exam. அட்லீஸ்ட் ஃப்ரம் தி லா பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் வியூ. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச ஏஎன்எம் சார் வந்து உங்களை எக்ஸாம் வரைக்கும் விட போகிறது கிடையாது. ஹி வில் கம் த்ரூ அவுட் ஆர் த்ரூ தி எக்ஸாம்ஸ் ஹி வில் கம், கரெக்ட்? பட் வித் ரெஸ்பெக்ட் டு லா, I want to give you time to sit at home and study. So this is the thought process that I have in my mind. சரியா? Maths and economics, you please plan. But April 25 or 26, we will start with model 1. And May 1st, we will start with model 2. சரியா? No doubt. Keep that in mind and then plan for your studies. சரியா? Yes, 10 minutes time. Ready, ma? Shall we start with the new chapter today? 10:30, time is 10:30 now. Let us take this chapter and complete this chapter, okay? Page number 2.154. Contract of indemnity and contract of guarantee. Now, before we get into the entire topic, let us understand what is the meaning of indemnity and what is the meaning of guarantee. Okay, now indemnity means, see, if someone is suffering a loss because of me, it is my responsibility to cover that loss. Yes or no? For example, ma, I ask you to drive my bike and go deliver a parcel, correct? During that time, my bike which I gave you for you to ride, I know there's a problem in the brake, correct? Because of that brake problem, you drove your bike, accidentally you met with an accident. Now, what was the reason for the accident? Brake. Okay. Now, after knowing there was a brake problem in the bike, I gave you the bike. No, don't you think because of me you are suffering? Isn't it? It could be an emotional loss, it could be a physical loss, and it could be a financial loss also. Correct? In the edathila, both physical loss is there as well as financial loss is also there. If you are meeting an accident, then definitely you have to go and incur whatever charges the hospital is going to write on you, isn't it? Now, because of me, if you are suffering a loss, it is my duty to cover the loss, isn't it? This is called as indemnity. Okay, now all insurance contract will come under indemnity, because when is someone coming up and covering my loss in case of an insurance, in case of loss of goods? நீங்கள் ஷிப்பில் உங்களோட குட்ஸ் எடுத்துகிட்டு போகிறீங்க, ஷிப் இஸ் ஆல்வேஸ் சப்ஜெக்ட் டு வெதர், isn't it? Weather எப்படியோ அதுக்கேற்ற மாதிரி தான் ஷிப்பு, கரெக்ட்? We believe that the ship will reach the location in proper condition without any trouble. But திடீர்னு ஏதோ ஒரு பசிபிக் ஓஷனில் திடீர்னு ஏதோ ஒரு புயல் கிளம்பி வந்துருச்சு. What we can do? We cannot do anything. But we have to safeguard ourselves from any such kind of losses, isn't it? That is why people go for insurance. Okay, transit insurance சொல்வாங்க. Transit insurance means any insurance which you take on your goods while it is in transportation. Able to understand? But during transport, if anything happens to the goods and if there is a loss on the goods, that loss can be recovered from the insurance company. Correct? Now, in this place, loss happened, but it was not because of anyone, it was because of the weather. Correct? அப்போ அந்த இடத்துல loss is still then, அந்த loss cover பண்றதுக்கு I am going to claim that amount from the insurance company. The person who indemnifies is called as indemnifier. The person to whom the amount is given, the loss is been covered, is called as indemnified. Able to understand? In our accident example, I will be the indemnifier. I will be the giver of the cash and you will be receiving the cash from me. That person will be called as indemnified. Able to understand, ma? Clear, everyone? Now, in this case, where all you have come across this kind of activities that are there? Ma, recently, some 2 years or 2.5 years back, T Nagarla ஒரு ஃபேமஸான ஒரு ஷாப் வந்து எரிஞ்சிருச்சு. உள்ள இருந்த ஸ்டாக்கோட all the people inside are safeguarded, correct? But entire stock is lost. Okay, many people said this fire was not accidental, it was planned so that they can recover the insurance amount. Able to understand? மேம் அது ஏன் ஒருத்தன் அவனோட சொந்த மணியை வந்து சொந்த ஸ்டாக்கை வந்து கொளுத்து விட்டு அப்புறம் ஏன் இன்சூரன்ஸ்லேருந்து வாங்கணும்? all these are activities which will be done to convert black into white. Okay, all the stocks inside எந்த மணியை யூஸ் பண்ணி வாங்கினீங்கன்னு கேட்டிருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா, இதை வந்து நான் அவங்க பண்ணாங்கன்னு சொல்ல வரல எந்த காலத்துலையும். ஓகேவா, டிஸ்க்ளைமர் போட்டுக்கோ, அண்டர்லைன் பண்ணிக்கோ, இது அவங்க பண்ணாங்கன்னு நான் சொல்ல வரல. பட் இதெல்லாம் நடக்குது நாட்டில். ஓகே, அதை என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க அப்படின்னா, நீங்கள் எந்த காசை வச்சு ஸ்டாக்லாம் வாங்கினீங்க, ஒயிட்டாக இருந்ததுன்னா அப்போ ஒன்றும் ப்ராப்ளமே கிடையாது. பட் இஃப் இட் ஆல் இட் வாஸ் அ பிளாக் மணி, தென் யூ ஹேவ் டு எரேஸ் ஆல் த ட்ரேசஸ் ஆஃப் இட். They will burn up the entire place, so that even if it is burnt out also, I will still be able to recover the loss from whom? Insurance company. Able to understand? அவங்க அது மாதிரி பண்ணலப்பா, நான் எக்ஸாம்பிளுக்காக சொல்கிறேன் சரியா, சும்மா அதே யோசிச்சுட்டு இருக்கக்கூடாது. So this is called as indemnity. Now coming to the word guarantee, where have you come across this word called guarantee? ஏதாச்சும் பொருள் வாங்கும் போது அந்த பர்சன் மேலே ஆர் பொருளை கொடுக்கும் போது அந்த பர்சன் மேலே நமக்கு ஒரு நம்பிக்கை இருக்காது, கரெக்டா? அப்போது we want a middle person to come and stand. To stand as what? To stand as a guarantee. Isn't it? Now, believing this person, we might have sold it to the other party, third party, correct? So someone is there standing in between me and the receiver, between the giver and the receiver. In case of accounts, the giver is called as what? The giver is called as what? Giver of any loan, giver of any goods is called as what? Creditor, correct? Adhe pola in accounts terms, what is the receiver called as? Debtor. Same terminology is applicable here also. The giver of amount or the giver of goods is called as what? Creditor. Likewise, the receiver of goods, the receiver of loan is called as debtor. Now in here he is called as principal debtor. What debtor? Principal debtor. Now இவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்கு நடுவுல ஒரு அப்பாவி, அவன் பேர் என்ன தெரியுமா? Surety. What is his name? Surety. Now this person gives guarantee to whom? Creditor. He gives guarantee to whom? Creditor. For what purpose? For giving a loan or goods to the debtor. Able to understand? Now in case of indemnity, two people involved. Who are the two people involved? Indemnifier, indemnified. Who is the indemnifier? The person who covers the loss. The person who covers the loss. Example, insurance company, correct? Indemnified abdina, the person who incurs the loss. The person who incurs the loss and receives the money from the indemnifier, correct? Two people involved in case of indemnity. Three people involved in the case of guarantee. Guarantee, who are the three people ma? Recall? Creditor, debtor, surety. Okay, in case of indemnifier and indemnified, there's only one contract that is involved. Okay, one main contract between the indemnifier and the indemnified. No other people will come inside, correct? But in case of a contract of guarantee, there are three people involved. Now we already know who are the three people, which is the creditor and then debtor. Sorry, this person is called as principal debtor and the surety. Now why will this surety come into picture abdina? If this person defaults abdina, then the creditor can catch hold of surety. Able to understand? But this is not so. This may not happen also. First place, I can decide to collect the money from surety also if the contract mentions. If the contract mentions, I will straight away collect from the surety. Then if it is just because it is given in the contract, yes, we can go with that. If the contract is silent, then I will ask the principal debtor. If the principal debtor defaults na enama? He is not paying the amount. Then what the creditor can do? Then the creditor can go to the surety. Then which means principal contract is between the main contract is between the creditor and the principal debtor. This will be the main contract, and there's a subsidiary contract or secondary contract that is running between whom? Principal and the debtor also. Okay, regarding what is this contract about is, see, even though this secondary contract is not visible in plain eyes, the law assumes that there is a contract between the principal debtor and surety. When in case the principal debtor is defaulting the payment abdina, then creditor can catch hold of the surety and the surety has to make payment to the creditor. Idhula edho doubt kadiyadu illaya? Now just because on behalf of you I paid the amount to the creditor, will I keep quiet or I will try to collect the amount from you? I will collect the amount. Ma, உனக்காக நான் ஷூரிட்டிக்கு நிற்கிறேன், ஓகே, நீ டிஃபால்ட் பண்ணிட்ட, ஓகே, ஆன் பிஹாஃப் ஆஃப் யூ ஐ வெண்ட் அண்ட் பெய்டு 10 lakhs, ஓகே, பட் paying 10 lakhs is not some small money. isn't it? I cannot keep quiet. See, even though there is no actual contract between the principal debtor and the surety, law assumes that there's a secondary contract and the surety can recover the money from the principal debtor. Able to understand? Now, with what rights he can recover the money? He has all the rights just how the creditor enjoyed. Okay, for example, in the creditor surety mattum pattadi, he also wanted some security. What is the difference between surety and security? Surety means one human being has to come there, stand and give surety. Correct? Security means there is no involvement of human being. It is because of some non-living item that is given as a security. Example, you want to take loan from a bank. What do you give to the bank as a security? If you are giving land abdina, then based on that land you will be given a loan. That is called as pledge. Correct? If you are giving some godown like stock items, that stock is a non-living thing that is taken as a security and bank will give you loan. Jewel loans, if you are giving jewel to the bank and taking loan, it is also kind of a pledge. Able to understand, clear? So all these are security that is given. Now this particular creditor, in the surety is not enough for me, let me also take a security from you. What security, sir, you want? Sir, I want the security of the land which you are having in Ambattur. Okay, land order value 50 lakhs. So in two sides I am safeguarded. One side security is there, another side security of land is there for me. Correct? Even in this case also, this principal debtor did not pay amount and this creditor want to recover the amount. First option will be selling the land or taking from the surety. Selling the land or taking from the surety. Selling the land is also good option, but it will take lot of time. But selling the land will incur lot of time. Yes or no? I need a good buyer and then the document should be properly done. Then there's so much of legal complications inside it if I want to sell a land. But if I want to recover the amount from surety, yes or no? Yes or no? My first option as a creditor will always be to recover the amount from the surety first. Surety mudila abdina, then I will go to security. Able to understand? But in 99% of the cases, surety will be the person who will give in case of default of the principal debtor. Able to understand, ma? Now, in this case, in our example, what happened? Enna sollittunna? Edho solla vanda marandutene. Ambattur land. Okay, Ambattur land is given as a security to me. Now, in this place, the person has defaulted the money. I gave this principal debtor 25 lakhs. 25 lakhs. This 25 lakhs, surety has paid me 25 lakhs. Correct? Now, this surety will step into the shoes of the creditor. அப்போ அந்த creditor எந்த land security அவர் கையில வச்சிருந்தாரோ அந்த security யாருக்கு transfer பண்ணும்? Surety transfer பண்ணும், because right now the surety has settled the amount to the creditor and he will take the shoes of the creditor. Able to understand? What if the creditor says, sir, listen, as a surety you are bound to pay me 25 lakhs. Yes, he has paid. Just because my loan na yaroda loan, creditor oda loan got settled. Okay, can he give back the document, land document to the principal debtor? Na enna kekkuren appadina, listen. Creditor gives principal debtor 25 lakhs loan. 25 lakhs loan. Okay, for this he has to repay within 1 year. He defaulted the payment. Okay, now in case of default, creditor has two options. One is asking the surety to make the payment. Innone, selling the land. Now, which option he can first do? Surety, because liquidation is more possible in case if I recover from surety. Selling of land will require lot of time. Why should I wait, ma? I will not wait. Okay, let me try to recover from the surety. Now this surety has made payment. What payment? He paid 25 lakhs. Okay, which means this creditor is no more. Yes or no? Now, since the loan got settled to the creditor, whether this land document can be given back to PD by the creditor. He cannot give. If he gives back, what will happen? This person, the surety will not have any security to recover the money from the principal debtor. Isn't it? In this place, the surety contract may get cancelled also. Even if the creditor is received the 25 lakhs, he has to give back the 25 lakhs to the surety. Why? Because, sir, see, as a surety, I came and gave you 25 lakhs. Why? Because, see, even if the principal debtor is not paying me, in the land sale panni, I can recover my 25 lakhs, correct? But in the land document, neenga thirupi principal debtor kondu poi kuduthittingna, as a surety, how will I recover the money? Isn't it? See, avarkaga na surety nikkiradhe peri vishayam, correct? After settling the money, I cannot even hold the security with me na, then why at all should I come as a surety? I will not come. Cancel the security contract itself. Give me back my 25 lakhs. All this will come into place. You understood the concept of indemnity and security now. Shall we go into the books? Yes. So the term indemnity means security against any loss or to make good the loss or to compensate the party who has suffered some loss. Okay. Now in case of contract of indemnity, what should I write? I should write this. I will write. I should write this one. Please read page number 2.55. 155, 2.155. Okay. 2.155 da. Oh, unga bookla 3 Say okay. 2.153. Please repeat. A contract by which one party promises to save the other party from losses caused to him by the conduct of promisor himself or by the conduct of any other person. Now let us, for example, the example which we discussed first, adadu me giving you a bike which has a brake failure, correct? Now this accident was because of me abdina yaru promisor, because I only promised to indemnify you, correct? That is why I am called as a promisor. Now this accident was because of the promisor himself. Able to understand, ma? Or sometimes it could be the conduct of any other person. This happens in case of insurance, wherein insurance la நீங்க உங்க பைக்கு கூட இன்சூரன்ஸ் எடுக்கணும் தெரியும்ல. அப்போ அந்த பைக் ஆக்சிடென்ட் was not caused by the insurance company, ma. It was caused by someone else, but the insurance cover is given by the insurance company. Able to understand? Please repeat, ma. Contract of indemnity is a contract by which one party save the other party from losses caused to him by the conduct of promisor himself or by any other person. One more time, please repeat. Contract okay, now let us study who are the two people involved. The party who promised to indemnify is called as the indemnifier, which means the person who gave the bike with brake failure, indemnifier. Okay, the person who sustained the loss is called as indemnified or indemnity holder. Indemnity holder. Ma, indemnity is a right. Okay, you have to, for example, if it is an obligation for me, for the other party it is going to be a right. Yes or no? Yes or no? Correct? Now, இதுக்கு ஒரு example சொல்லுங்க. எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லுடா. ஐயோ, ரொம்ப காம்ப்ளெக்ஸா யோசிக்காதடா, சிம்பிளா யோசி. It is an obligation for me, it is a right for you. அது மாதிரி சொல்லுங்க. For example, I am going and staying in a house as a rental person. The moment I pay the amount, the moment I pay the monthly rental amount, it is my right to stay in that home for the next 1 month. Correct? Adhe pole, it is an obligation for you to give me that home for rent. Correct? You cannot vacate me between that 1 month. As the moment you take the money, it becomes an obligation for you. It is my right. Able to understand? Likewise, in here, when I say loss has sustained அப்படின்னா அந்த லாஸை ரிகவர் பண்றது உங்களோட ரைட். அந்த லாஸுக்கு அமௌண்ட்டை கொடுக்கறது என்னோட ஆப்ளிகேஷன். ரைட் இல்லடா, ஆப்ளிகேஷன். Okay, likewise, when I say a person is called as an indemnity holder, this indemnity is a right that that person is holding. That is why he is called as a indemnity holder. Other word for indemnity holder is indemnified. For example, you are saved from exam அப்படின்னு சொல்றேன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்களேன், which means what? You are prepared very good, you have written all your test, model examல double marks, எல்லாத்துலயும் 40 earn பண்ணா 80 அந்த மாதிரி. Okay, which means you are saved from your exam. Correct? This can be otherwise also said as you are indemnified, you are saved. Okay, இப்போ ஏதாவது loss sustain ஆனாலும் you are indemnified, which means you are saved from that loss. Okay, so what are the two parties? Who are the two parties involved? Indemnifier, indemnified. Indemnified க்கு இன்னொரு பேரு indemnity holder. Indemnity holder. Correct? Next, but in case when you can when does this contract of indemnity apply? It will apply only if the loss is caused by promisor himself or conduct of any other person. This you are learning for the first time or learnt already? Where have you learned? In the definition itself you have learnt. One more time, try to recall the definition. What did we study? Contract of indemnity is a contract in which by which cost to him, promisor himself or any other person. சரியா? Two parties, indemnifier, indemnity holder. In case ஏதாவது loss cover ஆச்சு அப்படின்னா, the loss will be coming under, the loss can be covered under contract of indemnity only if the loss is caused by the promisor himself or any other person. Okay. Modes of contract of indemnity. Mode of contract, it can be express, which means expressly promises, or it can be implied when it is inferred from the conduct of the parties. So it can be two ways, one express or implied. Rights of an indemnity holder when sued. The promisee in a contract of indemnity acting within the scope of his authority is entitled to recover from the promisor three things. Which means what? See, I promised to cover your loss. Okay, later on I took myself back, I did not pay you anything. In that case, it is a right for you. Yes or no? If you want to take your right back, where you can go? You can go to the court of law, isn't it? Now when you go to the court of law, what all the rights you have, what all you can recover from the indemnifier? First thing, all damages which he may be compelled to pay in any suit. For example, insurance company, because of me you are going into a contract with the third party. Because of me you are going into contract with a third party. Ultimately, the third party has cheated you. Okay, cheated you. In that, still you are suffering a loss. Correct? Now, this loss can be taken from the indemnifier because it is because that he said, in case the loss vandana, I will cover you up. It is a contract of indemnity, and the failure has happened, and any damages that comes because of this also, it can be recovered from the whom? Indemnifier. Able to understand? Ma, just because he cheated and went, will I leave that person chumma or I'll file a case against him? I will file a case against him. Ma, and the file பண்ணும்போது அந்த கேஸ்ல ஏதாவது எனக்கு லாஸ் வந்தாலும் who will only bear? Indemnifier only will bear. Able to understand, ma? All costs which he may have been compelled to pay in bringing and defending a suit, all sums which he have been made to pay under the terms of any compromise of suit. Ma, compromise of suit na enna ma? Ma, how much he cheated on me? He cheated on me for 5 lakh rupees. I will ask him to pay me 5 lakh rupees. Able to understand? Okay. If he doesn't pay, that also he has to, who has to bear? Indemnifier has to bear. See it from the opposite point of view. Opposite point of view. Same indemnifier is there, and you are the person who was believing on the indemnifier and getting into a contract. Okay. Later on, you cannot perform on the contract. For example, let me draw and show you. See, indemnifier is there, and then indemnity holder is there, and then third party is there. Third party is there. See, because of the indemnifier only, you are getting into transaction. Correct? When you enter into the transaction itself, you know that you will not be able to perform the transaction. Example. Say suppose this person is a manufacturer of a machinery. Correct? Because of the indemnifier only, he went into contract with the third party and promised for a machine delivery. Okay. Now promise keep up pannu. Correct? Only then you will escape from the contract. Now this is a contract for a machinery. Okay, machine will be supplied to the third party, and the third party has to pay payment 3 crore rupees. Cost of the machinery is so much. Okay, able to understand? Now what happens here is, Sonnamari, I could not deliver the machinery. Who could not deliver the machinery? Indemnity holder could not deliver the machinery, and while entering into the contract itself, the indemnifier already knows. I already know. I informed also to the indemnifier that, see, in the contract neenga solli na edukren, but I am very much sure that within this time frame I cannot deliver. Okay, but still the indemnifier is forcing you for what? See, pandriyo, right now take it. If at all any problem comes, if at all any loss happens, let me bear that loss. I am covering you the loss. Correct? On whose push that you are doing, getting into the contract, indemnifier order push nala you are getting into a contract, and ultimately you are breaching the contract. Breach of contract na. You are not performing the contract. You are obliged to perform something. What is your obligation? To provide machinery. But you did not do it. You have breached the contract. When you say you are breached the contract, the other party will sit quietly and wait, or he will file a case against you. He will definitely file a case. Apo this third party will go to court. Yes or no? Now this entire problem caused because of whom? This indemnifier. Correct? Now in the third party court போறார் அப்படினா அவர் கோர்ட்டுக்கு போனதுக்கு அப்புறமா நான் சும்மா உட்கார்ந்திருக்க முடியும். I have to put another lawyer and defend myself. Yes or no? அப்போ whatever this third party is charging me as damage, this one plus whatever is the fees or etc. which I incur for paying the court, for paying this particular lawyer, noting charge, etc. Plus other than this, in the problem settle பண்றதுக்கு, if I am going for any compromise with the third party, for example, third party says within 10 days pay me back the 3 crores along with an interest of 10%. This 10% is not damage, this is pure interest. Okay va? This damage is different. Damage edukku? Because you have not delivered the particular machinery, I want you to cause a damage. Say for example, damage alone comes to 10 lakh rupees. Okay, now lawyer ku na pay panna fees or 1 lakh rupees. Now because of this compromise arrangement, I have to repay this 3 crore along with 10% interest. Now this 10% interest was because of the compromise. Correct? 10% on 3 crores comes to 30 lakhs. 30 lakhs ada. 30 lakhs, correct? Now, how much in total I have to pay this person? 10 lakhs, 1 lakh, 30 lakhs, 41 lakhs. This 41 lakhs, who has to give me back, ma? Who has to cover this loss, ma? Indemnifier has to cover this loss. Keeping this example in mind, now go and read what is given here. Rights of the indemnity holder. Please read from the beginning, ma. The promisee in a contract. Ma, one single voice. Everyone open your mouth. Everyone open your mouth. Yes. The promisee. Ma, in that if you are feeling difficult, okay, all damages that he paid, okay, all cost that he has to pay in bringing the to suit, all sums that under the terms of compromise that he has to pay. லைட்டா சேஞ்ச் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. ஏன் அப்படின்னா இந்த which he paid அதெல்லாம் வந்து முக்கியம் இல்லை. டேமேஜ், காஸ்ட், சம்ஸ், damage for any suit, cost for bringing or defending the suit, sums for compromise of suit. Those are the keywords. In between la podra word nala edo nothing, no meaning is going to change. Okay, so whatever you want to use a simple English, use it here. Okay, what are the three things that the indemnified can recover? First one, damage. Damage on what, ma? Any suits that are filed. Next one, all cost for what, ma? For bringing up or defending the suit. Third one, enema, any sum that he paid for compromise of the suit. Repeat, ma, what are the three things that he can recover? Damages, aprom cost, aprom damage, cost, any sum that he paid. Damage was relating to any suit. Next, cost was related to bringing or defending any suit. Correct? Third one, any cost that he may incur in case of compromise of any suit. Able to understand? Now, when does the liability of the indemnifier commence? When does the liability of the indemnifier na yaru? The person who is covering the loss, correct? When he is becoming liable, we have to understand, correct? The moment the liability is put on the indemnity holder, or the moment the indemnity holder incurs a loss, the moment he incurs the loss, automatically liability comes for indemnifier. Able to understand? The liability of the indemnifier commences as soon as the liability of the indemnity holder becomes absolute and certain. This principle has been followed by the courts in several cases, but this one line, if you study, enough, ma. Liability of the indemnifier commences as soon as the liability of the indemnity holder becomes absolute and certain. Now, what do we mean by the word absolute and certain in here? But you are able to quantify the loss. For example, insurance company will cover the loss, correct? நீங்க insurance company cover பண்ணா உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு loss ஆயிருக்குன்றது தெரியணும். Just like that building எரிஞ்சு போச்சு சார், please pay me அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. You have to come to qualification. What you have to qualify? What is the actual loss? You have to quantify also. Okay, now the moment you qualify and quantify, the loss is absolute and it becomes certain. What is the actual loss? தோராயமா ஒரு மதிப்பு சொல்லாத, actual ஒரு மதிப்பு சொல்லு. You cannot be 100% absolute, okay, but you can near to 100%. Correct? Yes. So with respect to indemnity, this is what we have completed. Now, before that, there's a small item to be discussed. A contract of fire insurance, marine insurance is always a contract of indemnity, but there is no contract of indemnity in case of contract of life insurance. Which means what, ma? Ma, life of the person who takes the life insurance வந்து அவங்களுக்கு எதுவுமே போகாது, கரெக்டா? When you say death cannot be substituted by anything, isn't it? So in case of life insurance, you cannot indemnify a life, you cannot bring someone back to life. Correct. Once he's dead. You cannot bring that person, but you can pay only to the nominee of the person. Seriya? Yes, please go through ma. 5 minutes time. 5 minutes, please go through. In this indemnity, what you should maximum remember, please try to understand and remember contract of indemnity or meaning. Then who are the two parties involved? And in case of recovery, what he can recover. These 3 points. 11:10 we will start with contract of guarantee. என்ன ஆன்லைன்ல கூட்டம் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கு இன்னைக்கு? எதனா விசேஷமா? ஓ அதனால ஓகே ஓகே ஓகே. Write. Take a pen, paper, write. Take a pen, paper, write. My online people also, please take a pen, paper and write. I want you to write the definition of contract of indemnity and the rights of the indemnity holder. Write. If you are done studying, please write. Ma, please take a pen, paper and write. Online people, please post it in the group. Write it, post it in the group. Have a commitment. இன்னைக்கு என்னம்மா படிக்கிற ரூபினி? Law and accounts. Law என்ன? Director. Accounts la? Yes, done. Everyone done? Last 1 minute. Last 1 minute. Post it in the group. Everyone should post in the group now. Everyone. Super Mahila. What about the rights of the indemnity holder? Write it and post it, ma. வீட்டில் எழுத சொன்ன நோட்ஸ் நான் எழுதுனீங்களா? நீமா எழுதல. அது எப்படி அக்கௌண்ட்ஸ் மட்டும் போடுறீங்க, லா மட்டும் எழுத மாட்டீங்க? உடம்பு வேற சரியில்லையா? முடியல, பேசவே முடியல, திட்ட கூட முடியல. சரிம்மா, let us start with the next area, contract of guarantee. Already told you who are the three people involved, ma. Creditor, principal, debtor and surety. The surety is the person who gives the guarantee. Principal debtor is the person in respect of whose default guarantee is given. Okay. Creditor is the person to whom guarantee is given, which means who will be given guarantee? யார் காசு கொடுக்குறாங்களோ அவங்களுக்கு தான் கேரண்டி கொடுப்பாங்க. Creditor is the person who gives the amount, therefore he should be given guarantee. And principal debtor is the person for whom we give guarantee, on behalf of whom we stand as a guarantee. See, read what is given in the book. Please read, ma. Person who, surety-க்கு என்னமா கொடுத்திருக்காங்க? Person who gives the guarantee. Okay, person who gives the guarantee means the person who stands as the surety will give the guarantee. Now, principal debtor is a person, read, everyone read. Person in respect of whose default guarantee is given. Creditor, who's a creditor? Whom guarantee is given. Okay. Now, this is a contract of guarantee because, okay, this example they are trying to explain. Leave that, go home and study. A contract of guarantee is a tripartite agreement between the principal, debtor, creditor and surety. Tripartite means it has three contracts in general, but one is the main contract. A principal contract means main contract between the principal, debtor and the creditor. A secondary contract between the creditor and the surety, and an implied contract between, implied contract na enna? By activity, by conduct of the parties, we understand that there's a contract. Implied contract between the surety and the principal debtor, whereby principal debtor is under an obligation to indemnify the surety. Now, the word indemnify, which means what? To cover the loss. To cover the loss or to make good the loss, correct? Now, on behalf of me, if surety is paying some money abdina, it is a loss for the surety, yes or no? So, I come as a indemnifier to indemnify the loss of the surety. Able to understand? And this contract is an implied contract. If surety is made to pay or perform, in case on my behalf, if the surety has to make payment abdina, if it is made to pay abdina, then who's under an obligation? Principal debtor is under an obligation to indemnify the surety. Tripartite agreement, first agreement or principal contract between creditor and principal debtor, secondary contract between creditor and surety, implied contract between principal debtor and surety, where obligation is under the principal debtor to indemnify the surety. Okay, this is all about guarantee, correct? See, same thing is explained in a chart format. Principal contract between principal debtor and creditor, secondary contract between creditor and surety, implied contract between surety and principal debtor. So it actually acts something like this, principal debtor, creditor, principal debtor, surety, correct? Now in this case, tell me what will be the principal contract? This principal contract, correct? Adukaprom secondary contract. Secondary contract. Creditor to surety is a secondary contract, and this one is an implied contract. Okay, able to understand? Now, essentials of a guarantee. Essentials now what ma? Rules. Rules for a guarantee. First thing, there should be a purpose for which I give a guarantee. The purpose for guarantee being to secure the payment of the debt. To secure the payment of the debt, to receive the payment of debt. The existence of a recoverable debt is necessary. Recoverable debt, if the debtor is giving the money, creditor is giving money to principal abdina, the motive is to receive the money sometime back. So the debt should be a recoverable debt. Able to understand ma? நீங்க சும்மா இந்தா வெச்சுக்கோங்கன்னு சொல்லிட்டு அப்படியே gift-ஆ கொடுத்த amount நான் surety வெச்சு திருப்பி வாங்குறது அதெல்லாம் முடியாது. The purpose when you are giving the amount, it should be a recoverable debt, and you are taking this guarantee to secure the repayment of the debt. Able to understand? Next one, consideration. Consideration. Now this is quite an important item. When I say in the first item, come here, creditor gives a loan to principal debtor, correct? Now what is the consideration for this contract ma? Consideration of principal debtor is loan, correct? Consideration for creditor is interest, correct? Now the surety is coming here and standing as a third party, yes or no? This third party, what is the consideration for this third party for in case of this secondary contract? What is the consideration? Creditor is going to receive a consideration. What consideration? Principal amount plus interest, correct? Correct? Appo consideration is flowing from surety to creditor. What is the consideration that surety is receiving? What is the consideration which surety is receiving abdina? See, this surety is a very, very good boy. Okay, he says, see, enakku thaniya and the consideration vana, you are giving this loan to principal debtor, no, that itself is my consideration. Able to understand ma? We already studied that wherever there is a contract, it has to be valid abdina, it should have offer, acceptance plus consideration. Now for this principal contract, you have this offer, acceptance plus consideration at both the ends, correct? But for the secondary contract, there is one-sided consideration only. Adhaadu, surety is supposed to pay principal amount plus interest, but surety in turn what consideration is he is getting? Actually there is no consideration, but what is assumed na, the surety says whatever loan you gave to the principal debtor, that giving of loan itself I will take as a consideration. Understood? Let us go and read what is given in the book. A contract of guarantee should also be supported by some consideration. A guarantee without consideration is void, but there is no need for a direct consideration. No need for a direct consideration between the surety and the creditor. Now what the section number 127 says அப்படினா, see, consideration received by the principal debtor is sufficient consideration for the surety also to give the guarantee. Understood? அப்போ எக்ஸாமுக்கு நம்ம எதை எழுதுவோமா? This much we will write. What we should write? This much. Sorry, here. Read. What we should write, ma? Now, ignore all the section numbers and all. Not necessary. Section numbers ignore. A contract of guarantee should also be supported by some consideration. A guarantee without consideration is void, but there's no need for a direct consideration between surety and the creditor. Able to understand? Now, in that place, consideration received by the principal debtor is sufficient consideration for giving a guarantee. Okay, only 3 points there, ma. First point, just like any other contract of guarantee should also have what? Consideration. It should also have some consideration, but there is no need for if there is no consideration abdina, there is no contract becomes void, but there is no need for a direct consideration between surety and the creditor. Whatever consideration principal debtor received is a sufficient consideration for the surety to extend the guarantee. Okay, then existence of a liability. There must be an existing liability or a promise whose performance is guaranteed. Such a liability or promise must be enforceable by law. The liability must be legally enforceable and it is not time barred. Now, what is time barred? Any loan that was given 3 years back and not tried to recover within the 3 years becomes time barred once 3 years elapses. Correct? Now, in the surety vechi in the time barred debt na recover panna mudiyuma? I cannot, because a time barred debt does not have any legal enforceability. Correct? Time barred debt does not have legal enforceability. Appo you can recover the money using surety only if that liability is legal and enforceable in nature. So there must be an existing liability and such liability must be enforceable by law. Avladhaan rende point dama. First point enna, there should be an existing liability and such a liability should be enforceable by law. Next one, no misrepresentation or concealment, which means if a person is coming and ready to stand as a surety to extend guarantee abdina, for receiving that guarantee you also have to give information. Correct? For example, ma, if I come and ask you loan to your father, will he give me loan? Ma, yaar ma neenga ungala enak theriyave theriyad. But if suppose you are coming and standing, ma'am, நீ சொல்ல மாட்டியா இவங்க எனக்கு டீச்சர் மேடம், லா நடத்துறாங்க, எனக்கு இவங்களை நல்லா தெரியும், ரொம்ப நல்ல மேடம், கண்டிப்பா ரீபே. Ma, you have to come and stand there, isn't it, as a surety. Now, the moment you come and stand as a surety, I have to tell you what is the loan amount that I am intending to receive from your father. Yes or no? Now, if suppose I am telling you 10 lakhs, okay, but received from your father 15 lakhs abdina, then what will be the problem here is there is some kind of concealment that is happening or misrepresentation that is happening, wherein as a surety I did not give you proper information to you. Able to understand? In that case, what happens? Surety can avoid the contract. Able to understand? Please read, ma. Any guarantee obtained by means of misrepresentation made by creditor or with his knowledge and assent concerning a material part of the transaction is invalid. Any guarantee which the creditor has obtained by keeping silence as to material circumstance is also invalid. Ma, keeping silent is nothing but what? Concealment. Able to understand? So, 2 cases. First one enna ma? If any guarantee is obtained using misrepresentation or keeping of silence by creditor or with his knowledge someone has done abdinalo, still it will amount to misrepresentation and concealment, and the contract becomes invalid. Which contract becomes invalid? Contract of guarantee becomes invalid. Okay ma, the principal contract is still intact. Adhaadu enna, contract between the creditor and principal debtor is still intact, which means contract of guarantee alone becomes invalid. Appo the principal debtor, if he defaults abdina, what is the option left for the creditor? Nothing. He cannot recover from the surety because contract of guarantee becomes invalid. Appo muttinalum modinalum he has to recover only from the principal debtor. He cannot come and stand for the amount bid to the surety. Why? Because he did not give good proper information. He has misrepresented himself, or knowingly he has let someone else to misrepresent. He has concealed some facts. Because of these reasons the contract of guarantee becomes invalid. Then such a contract need not be written, it can be oral or written. Joining of other co-sureties, this is important area ma. Why? Because see, if the surety comes and says to you, ma, you're all listening to me, online people, you're all listening. Tulasi, every time this girl will say, Kavin also will join. Others, ma'am na ennada artham, presence mark pannuma attendance. Okay ma, you're all listening. Yes ma'am, I'm listening to you. அந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுங்க. என்ன பேசுறோம்னா joint sureties. Now I'm ready to come and stand as a surety for you, but I want this other person also to come and stand. Only then I will sign. Okay, then this contract of guarantee will be valid only on the joining of that other surety. Able to understand ma? Clear? Okay, now இதில் என்ன புரிஞ்சுது, என்ன கிளியர் ஆச்சு சொல்லு, ஏதாவது ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளோட சொல்லுங்க. Now see, law is a subject where you have to apply your mind on real life situations, correct? When you can say I have got good confidence in this subject அப்படின்னா, நீ படிக்கிற ப்ரொவிஷனை உன்னோட ரியல் லைஃப் கூட அட்டாச் பண்ணி ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிளை புல் பண்ண தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். அப்போதான் you can say I have done this topic. Okay, now that I have given you this provision, tell me one real life situation, then I can accept that it is clear for you. ஜெயம் ரவி படத்திலையா என்ன கடைசியா நான் பார்த்து மனசுல நிக்கிற ஒரு படம் அப்படின்னா எம் குமரன் சன் ஆஃப் மகாலட்சுமியா? அது இல்லையா? வேற என்ன? ரூபினி உடனே கான்வர்சேஷனுக்குள்ள வந்துட்டியா? சொல்லுங்க. சந்தோஷ் சுப்ரமணியம். ரூபினி வேற லெவல்மா. அதுல என்ன வரும்? எல்லாரும் ஒரு மொட்டை மாடியில் நின்று கான்வர்சேஷன் பண்ணுவாங்க, கரெக்டா? நோ வாட் ஹேப்பன்ஸ் ஹியர், ஆக்சுவலி 4 ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. ஓகே, அவங்க லோனுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணுவாங்க. மனோபாலா தான் வந்து அந்த பேங்க் மேனேஜர் லோனுக்காக போய் நிற்பாரு. பிரகாஷ் ராஜ் சார் வந்து ஷூரிட்டிக்கு கூப்பிடுவாரு. ஷூரிட்டிக்கு கொடுத்தா நான் லோன் கொடுக்குறேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, கரெக்டா? நோ இது வந்து ஷூரிட்டிக்கு எக்ஸாம்பிள். ஓகே, நம்ம ஜாயிண்ட் ஷூரிட்டி பற்றி நான் பேசிட்டு இருக்கேன். அதே பரா அப்பா பிளஸ் அப்பா கூட சித்தப்பா ஆல்சோ. நோ இந்த இடத்துல condition is put by the bank manager, correcta? But what I am saying is condition is put by the surety himself. Now what happens here, let us take the same scenario. Manobala will be the creditor, yes or no, because he is the giver of the loan. Adhe pola Jayam Ravi will be the principal debtor, correcta? இந்த இடத்துல பிரகாஷ் ராஜ் peer, Prakash Raj is ready to come and stand as surety, provided இன்னொரு person also is joining him. Okay, அப்போ this surety will be valid only if that person joins. Clear? Understood? Shall we read what is given in the book? Yes, read. I'll give you 2 minutes time. Read and understand. ஒரே பாயிண்ட் தான். this one they have given in different phrase, apron this is a same content in a using different English, correct? So where a person gives a guarantee, he is giving a guarantee upon a contract that creditor shall not act upon it until another person has joined in it as a co-surety. The guarantee is not valid if that other person does not join. Implies what? Implies what? The guarantee by a surety is not valid if a condition is imposed by a surety that some other person must also join as co-surety. But such other person does not join as co-surety. Ipo, it will not be valid when that other person does not join. Can you understand how you should read this point? See, law padikkiradhu or art. You will accept or not? It is an art, and that art will not be done, can be done by everyone, every other person. Okay, let us try to understand. ஏன் இதை நான் சொல்கிறேன் அப்படின்னா, இன்டர்மீடியட் கூட ஒன்று நான் இருப்பேன், இல்லைனா வேறு யாராவது இருப்பாங்க சப்போர்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு. ஆனால் சிஏ ஃபைனலில் யூ ஹாவ் ஒன் பேப்பர் கால் SPOM, செல்ஃப் பேஸ்ட் ஆன்லைன் மாடியூல். அதில் ஒரு மேண்டேட்ரி பேப்பர் இருக்குது. எந்த பேப்பர் அப்படின்னா லா பேப்பர், எக்கனாமிக் லாஸ். ஓகே, நவ் திஸ் இஸ் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் அ கம்ப்யூட்டர் எக்ஸாம். 1 marks will be answered, 1 mark questions or 2 marks question will be answered. You have to go and click buttons, கரெக்டா? இப்போ பட்டன் ப்ளஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்குலாம் யாராவது கிளாஸ் போய் படிப்பாங்களா? மனசாட்சி வேணாமா? ஒரு பேப்பருக்கு வெளியே போனால் ஒரு 10,000 ரூபா சார்ஜ் பண்ணுறாங்க. ஆல்ரெடி சிஏ ஃபைனலில் 6 பேப்பர் இருக்குது. 6 பேப்பர் இருக்குது, ஆனால் 6ல் ஒரு சிலது வந்து 2 பேப்பர் இருக்கும். ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் டேக்ஸ், டைரக்ட் டேக்ஸ் தனி, இன்டைரக்ட் டேக்ஸ் தனி, கரெக்டாக? 2 பேப்பர்ஸ் ஆகுது. இது மாதிரி 6 பேப்பர் இருக்குது. இது இல்லாமல் எஸ்பிஓஎம்ல 2 மேண்டேட்ரி பேப்பர், ஒன்று லா, இன்னொன்று வந்து ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜிக் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட். அதுவும் சிமிலர் டு காஸ்டிங் மாதிரி. ஓகே, நான் இது ஒவ்வொன்றுத்துக்கும் அஸ்யூமிங் ஒவ்வொரு பேப்பருக்கும் நம்ம வந்து ஒரு 10,000 to 12,000 பே பண்ணணும். ஓகே, இப்படி இருக்கும்போது ஆன்லைனில் ஆன்சர் பண்ண போகிற பேப்பருக்கு யாரும் காசு கொடுத்துலாம் படிக்க மாட்டாங்க. நானாக இருந்தால் படிக்க மாட்டேப்பா, சரியா? இப்போது நானாக அதுக்கு படிக்க ஆரம்பிக்கணும்ல, அப்போது எனக்கு லா எப்படி படிக்கிறதுன்னு தெரியணும். ஓகே, அதுக்கு தான் நான் உங்களை ட்ரெயின் பண்ணுறேன், சரியா? ஓகே, அண்ட் இது வந்து எக்ஸாம் வரைக்கும், கரெக்டாக? எக்ஸாம் முடிஞ்சு நாளை பின்ன நம்ம ஒரு வேலைக்குன்னு போகிறோம், இல்லை ஒரு ஆடிட்டர் ஆஃபீஸில் ஆடிட்டு அசிஸ்டண்ட்டாக போகிறோம், ஓகே, பார்ட்னராக போகிறோம், எப்படி வேணால் வச்சுக்கோ. இல்லை நீயே ஒரு ஃபார்மை ஆரம்பிக்க போகிற, என்ன பாசிபிலிட்டி வேணால் வச்சுக்கோ. இன்கேஸ் நீங்கள் வேலைக்கு போகிறீங்க அப்படின்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், நீங்கள் யூ வில் பி கிவன் ஒன் அசிஸ்டன்ட் மேனேஜர் பொசிஷன். எடுத்த உடனே அசிஸ்டன்ட் மேனேஜர், எக்ஸிக்யூட்டிவ் மேனேஜர் அந்த மாதிரி தான் கொடுப்பாங்க. மேனேஜரியல் பொசிஷன், கரெக்ட்? நோ, இஃப் அ law that is every year law is going to change. இந்த மாதிரி law change ஆகும்போது provisions will also change, correct? now உங்களுக்கு மேலே இருக்கிறவருக்கு இதெல்லாம் படிக்கிறதுக்கு டைம் இருக்காது, கரெக்டா? he will be held up with some very very advanced level of works. now this person what he will ask you to do is, பா ஏதோ சேஞ்சஸ்லாம் வந்திருக்கு, அது என்னன்னு பார்த்துட்டு give me just a gist of it, get me just a gist of it அப்படின்னா, நான் இப்போ உங்களுக்கு என்ன வேலை பண்ணுறோனோ நீ அதை அப்படியே வந்து உங்களோட சீனியர் மேனேஜருக்கு பண்ணும். which means you have to barely understand what is the provision of law, try to use simple words to understand it and convey that to your senior manager. இதை நம்மளுக்கு பண்ண தெரியாதுன்னு சொல்ல முடியாது, yes or no? so we need to know how to read law. மேம் நான் ஏன் மேம் law படிக்கணும்? income tax is a law, companies act is a law, and when you are inside a company, working for a company, it becomes mandatory for you to at least bare minimum have knowledge about Companies Act and Income Tax Act. இது இல்லாம GST Act. Okay, so that is the necessary of why we should study how to read law and understand law. Okay va? Story after that, please come and read, ma, please come and read. It implies that the guarantee by a surety will not be valid when that such other person does not join as surety. If a condition is imposed that imposed by a surety that some other person must also join as co-surety. Now this is the condition that is given by the surety. என்னன்னு, see, if I am joining as surety அப்படின்னா I am ready to stand, but என்னோட தம்பி also should come and stand. Only if 2 people are coming here, no, okay, I can do this அப்படின்னா, this will be not valid until that person who does not come. If he comes abdina, the contract will be valid. If he does not come abdina, contract will become invalid. Which contract will become invalid? Contract of guarantee will become invalid. Okay, for exam purpose also, if we study these 3 lines, more than sufficient. Please read ma, read remember, please. Yes, repeat ma, repeat. If a condition is, okay, the guarantee by a the guarantee by a surety is not valid if a condition is imposed by a surety that some other person must also join as a co-surety. Ma, you can slightly rephrase it. How abdina? The contract of surety is valid only if that, see, if a condition is imposed by a surety that some other person must also join and that some other person joins it. Able to understand? Ma, this is negative phrase, negative sentences. What I am trying to do is, I am trying to convert it to a positive sentence so that that confusion will not be there in our mind. Okay? The guarantee of by a surety is valid if a condition is imposed by a surety that some other person must also join as a co-surety and such other person joins as a surety. The phrase as well as the concept as well as the provision, all the 3 are in line. Okay, if you want to make changes to your answer or rephrasing your answer abdina, this is how you should do. Yes, read now. Joins as a surety. Okay, clear? Yes. Next one, types of guarantee. Under types of guarantee, we have a specific guarantee and continuing guarantee. Specific guarantee means only for that particular specific transaction I am standing as a guarantee. Able to understand? This will apply only, my guarantee will apply as long as that transaction is complete. Only if the transaction is complete, the entire project is over abdina, then my guarantee is also over. Okay? A guarantee which extends to a single debtor or a specific transaction is called as specific guarantee. Surety's liability also comes to an end when the guaranteed debt is duly discharged or the promise is duly performed. Now, now for example, see, I am standing as a guarantee for you to come and take class. Okay, Hari sir will appoint you as a faculty. Okay, faculty. For you, I am standing as a guarantee. Yes, sir, this boy is very much interested, very good person, good character, loyal person, and also very much interested in taking classes. Okay, in the certificate I am standing as a guarantee. Okay, now how long my guarantee will continue? Pragyala neenga oru 8 வருஷம் எடுக்கறீங்க அப்படினா 8 வருஷமா நான் உங்களுக்கு guarantee நிக்க முடியும். For that batch, my guarantee will be there. Able to understand? Example, first 2 days you are very good in performing the activity. Ma mottama law ku regular class ku 120 hours, correct? 120 hours, first 10 hours you managed your office timing, house, poitu vara travel, everything you managed. Later on you started coming late, or later on you did not properly prepare and come to class. Something happens, correct? In place of you, I will come and stand and take class. Okay, and my guarantee will be there only for that particular batch. Over. And the batch kapro திருப்பி Hari sir appoint பண்ணார் அப்படினா, it is between you and Hari sir to decide. I will not come because I am standing as guarantee only for that batch. Understood ma? Understood? Beyond that match மேல அப்பயும் உங்களையே தான் அவர் அப்பாயிண்ட் பண்றாரு அப்படினா அது அவர் எடுக்கிற ரிஸ்க். And meanwhile நீங்க உங்ககிட்ட நீங்க ஏதாவது இம்ப்ரூவ்மென்ட் காமிச்சிருந்தீங்க அப்படினா that is within your talent and within his risk to get the classes done continued manner. But my guarantee is done and dusted for that batch. 3 months batch na 3 months ku aprom my guarantee will not be there. Okay, next one is continuing guarantee. Now give one example for continuing guarantee. Continuing You want to start a business in Chennai, okay? For that you want to source a raw material, say from supplier, okay? Want to source a material from down south, say for example ஒரு கன்னியாகுமரி அந்த மாதிரி, ஓகேவா? ஆனால் அந்த இடத்துல உங்களுக்கு யாரையுமே தெரியாது. அண்ட் அங்கே இருக்கிறவங்க திடீர்னு சென்னை பர்சன் கால் பண்ணி ஒரு 50 லட்ச ரூபாய்க்கு ரா மெட்டீரியல் கேட்டால் யார் உங்களை நம்பி அனுப்புவா? No one will trust you, okay? Now this kind of trust cannot be built in one transaction, yes or no? For example, in the month of April, you are giving order for 50 lakh rupees. You sent 50 lakh rupees, they sent you raw material. This happens for one time only. But tell me, within one time, you will gain the trust of that person? No. At least you have to travel with that person for at least one year. And the 1 year minimum you should have taken raw material orders for at least 7 to 8 times. Only then you will get the trust of that particular supplier, okay? Appo my continuing guarantee will be there for next 1 year. Within that 1 year, how many ever orders you make, for all that orders I will stand as guarantee. Able to understand? So my guarantee is not completed within the first transaction. My guarantee is open for a longer point of time. Within that longer point of time, how many ever orders you make, for all that orders my guarantee is continuing in nature. Understood? Please read, please read. A guarantee which series of transaction is called as continuing guarantee. A surety's liability continues until the revocation of guarantee. Which means what? That continuing guarantee is continuing in nature. When it can be stopped abdina, only when the surety revokes the guarantee. Revoking means what? Taking back. Revoking means taking back, okay? Now the moment I revoke my guarantee, only then my guarantee will stop. அதுக்கப்புறம் எந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷன் நடந்தாலும் I will never be a guarantee. Whatever was the previous transaction, only I will be guarantee for those. Able to understand? But both the points you have to write. Next one, distinction between contract of indemnity, guarantee, homework. Please go do, okay? Next one, nature and extent of surety's liability. What is the extent to which surety is liable? The liability of surety is co-extensive with that of the principal debtor unless it is otherwise provided in the contract. Now, this is very important point. I receive 10 lakhs loan from you. For this loan, say for example, Maha is standing as the guarantee, surety. Okay, so who is the principal debtor, who is the creditor? Okay, BK will give loan 10 lakhs to Sangeeta, okay, and for this Maha will be the surety. Correct? In this case, loan abdina, loan அப்படியே repay பண்ணுமா, or loan should be repaid along with the interest? Now, loan should be paid along with the interest of 2 lakhs. Correct? If at all 1 year is the time period, now this April I am receiving 10 lakhs abdina, next April when I am repaying I should pay 10 lakhs plus 2 lakhs. Correct? Now tell me what will be the, if at all I am default பண்றேன்னு வெச்சுக்கோங்களே, this person will try to take it from Maha. Correct? Now tell me, Maha should be liable for 10 lakhs or 12 lakhs? 12 lakhs. Why? Because the liability of the surety is co-extensive. Repeat, what is the word? Co-extensive. What is the meaning of co-extensive? But to what extent principal debtor is liable? To that same extent, surety is also liable. Appo, when the principal debtor is supposed to pay 10 plus 2 lakhs abdina, then the surety is also supposed to pay 10 plus 2 lakhs. Original liability is extended to another 2 lakhs called as interest. This is called as co-extensive. Extension கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்கல்ல, அதே மாதிரி liability is also co-extensive along with the principal debtor. Now this can be avoided when? This situation can be avoided when abdina, when you have a specific contract against this, which means in case of default, surety will be liable only for original loan amount. Now, if such a clause is mentioned in the contract, now tell me what will be the liability of Maha? It is only 10 lakhs. Able to understand? If the contract is silent, what happens? If the contract is silent abdina, the liability of surety is coextensive with the principal debtor. If the contract has any clause relating to this abdina, whatever the contract says, we have to follow that. Clear everyone? More online people clear? You understood the meaning of coextensive? Okay. Please read one more time. The liability of surety is coextensive with that the liability of principal debtor unless it is provided by the contract. Unless it is provided by the contract. If you want to cut down that coextensive, then you have to mention it in the contract. Liability of surety is of secondary nature as he is liable only on the default of the principal debtor, which means it is always a secondary contract. Why? Because this creditor will first try to collect it from the principal debtor. Only if the principal defaults, then you will be asked. Okay, so the liability of surety is secondary in nature as he is liable only on the default of the principal debtor. Third point, where a debtor cannot be held liable on account of any defect in the document, the liability of the surety also ceases. We already saw only if the principal debtor is liable, then the surety can be made liable. Now, document la edo defect irukundranaala principal debtor release aitar abdina, then who bothers about the surety? Okay, only if the principal debtor is made liable. Nama move first enna padichom inga previous point la. What did we read in the previous point? Please help. Thonda romba valigide. Please help. Yes. What did we read in the previous point? Liability of surety is secondary because he is liable only on default of the principal debtor. Now, his liability is based on the principal debtor or a default, correct? Now, principal debtor, when you say there's a defect in the document, then how can you enforce the document? The contract itself becomes unenforceable. The contract becomes unenforceable abdina, then the principal debtor cannot default. Correct? Money pay panna sonnano first. Unaku pay panna solradhukku unaku rights e illa. The contract is not enforceable on the principal debtor itself. Then when it is not enforceable on the principal debtor, the same liability only is received by the surety also. Surety also will not be enforceable. Okay, our liability will also cease. A creditor may choose to proceed against a surety first unless there is an agreement to the contrary, which means the agreement should say, if the agreement says, see, principal debtor is not in my area, so let me try to recover first from the surety. The contract should say that. Able to understand? By default, principal debtor will be the first person. On his default, surety will be asked. If I want it in the reverse, let me ask the surety first abdina, then the contract should be specifically given. Okay, read all the 4 points. Try to remember all the 4 points. Let us mark the keywords first. Keywords first. Co-extensive with that of the principal debtor. Okay, surety is secondary. Liability of surety is secondary. If the debtor cannot be held liable, liability of surety also ceases. Creditor may proceed against surety first. Read, remember, write and see. I'll give you 5 minutes time. Read, remember, write and see. Let us take a 10-minute break, ma. Come back by 12 o'clock. Come by 12 o'clock. Okay, ma, next area. Liability of two persons primarily liable. The liability of two persons who are primarily liable, not affected by an arrangement between them, that one person shall be a surety on others' default, does not matter at all. See, what they are trying to say is, for example, BK and JK. These two people are together coming forward to enter into a contract with Narendra. Okay? Enter into a contract with Narendra. But this is the primary contract or main contract. Primary contract or main contract. Now, in between these two itself, they have a separate contract. That one person, for example, BK will be the surety. So there are two things that are impacted here, which is together, these two people coming together, whatever may be the name called, together they are coming as a joint person coming together and forming a contract with Narendran. This contract will be the main contract. Apart from this, these two people in between themselves, they have a private contract stating that BK will act as a surety. And you also telling this Narendran that in the mari engalukku naduvula or contract, private contract irukku அப்படின்றது, you are also informing Narendran. Does it matter for Narendran whether you are entering into a private contract or personal contract? No. If I want to recover money from you, I will take both of your names. Why? Because you both together came and entered into contract with me. Appo, when you are together coming and entering into a contract with me, it does not matter to me whether you both have a private contract or not. If I want to recover from both of you, I will recover from you. Okay, both of you, whomsoever I think I can recover from you, you cannot stop me. Seriya? Keeping this in mind, please read. Where two persons, in our case, BK, JK, okay, contract with the third person, Narendran, to undertake a certain liability, that is nothing but loan, and also contract with each other. Contract with each other na, BK and JK privately they contract with each other for what? That one of them na yarma, in our case BK shall be liable only on the default of the other, which means BK is standing as a surety on the other person's default. Okay, and this contract is entered between you both only. Seriya? Default of the other, the third person not being a contract, not being a party to such contract, which means in the BK kon JK kon nadula contract kulla, who is not a person to the contract? Narendran is not a person. In the surety patti neenga pesringa, neenga dhaan pesittirukeenga. Okay, the third person is not a party. The liability of each of such two persons to the liability of each of such persons na yarma, BK plus JK together they are liable to Narendran, ilya, to the third person under the first contract is not affected. Not affected na enna artham? Whether one person is defaulting or one person is acting as surety does not impact the main contract. As regards to Narendran, I can recover from BK also, I can recover from JK also. Whichever I feel best, I will do. Because contract is always between two or more parties. Appo, in the two parties are together coming abdina, they are co-parties to the contract. Now already the padila padichirukom. Co-parties to a contract. In case of a co-party, the third person can recover from any one of that person. Okay? Now is not affected by the existence of the second contract, although such third person may have already been aware of its existence. Now, even if Narendran knows or not, it doesn't matter. Even if he knows also, it doesn't matter. It is not impacting the main contract. Ma'am, idella exam ku varuma. Ma, நம்ம தலையெழுத்து அவ்வளோ மோசமாக இருந்துச்சுன்னா வரும். ஓகேவா, ஒன்றும் சொல்ல முடியாது. சரியா? இந்த ரீசெண்டாக ஏதோ ஒரு படம் பார்த்தேன், தனுஷோட படம், அசுரன் லாங் பேக்கு. அசுரனுக்கு அப்புறம் அதே மாதிரி இன்னொரு பிக்சர் இப்போ வந்தது. உனக்கு காது மொத்தமும் இங்கே தான்மா இருக்கு. நோ, ராயன் அதில் செல்வராகவன் ஒரு டைலாக் சொல்லுவார், உனக்கு நேரம் ஃபஸ்ட்டாக இருந்ததுன்னா ஏதோ 3 பேர் தாண்டவராயணம் ஏதோ பேர் ஏதோ சம் நேம் 3 ராயனில் அந்த 3 ராயன் இருக்கிறதுலே ரொம்ப ஃபஸ்ட்டாக இருந்ததுன்னா அவங்க அண்ணன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு தனுஷ் பேர் சொல்லுவாங்க. அந்த மாதிரி நம்மளுக்கு அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு நேரம் வந்தது அப்படின்னா இந்த மாதிரி கொஸ்டின்லாம் நம்ம போய் மாட்டோம். சரியா? ஸோ எஃபெக்டிவ்லி இஃப் வி அண்டர்ஸ்டுட் வாட் தே ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு சே வி கேன் somehow மேனேஜ் இட் இன் தி எக்ஸாம். படிக்கலைனாலும் வி கேன் மேனேஜ் இட். தட் இஸ் வை ஐ ஆஸ்க் யூ டு லிசன் இன் தி கிளாஸ். ஓகே, இதெல்லாம் எஃபர்ட் போட்டு படிக்கணும்னா யோசிச்சுப்பாரு எவ்வளோ கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும். அட்லீஸ்ட் ட்ரை டு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட் வாட் தே ஆர் ட்ரைங் டு சே, தென் யூ வில் பி somehow உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச அந்த கீவேர்ட்ஸு அதெல்லாம் இஸ்ஸு வாசு தட்டு அதெல்லாம் போட்டு ஃபில்அப் பண்ணி எழுதிடலாம். சரியா? ஸோ வில் யூ ரீட் திஸ்? Will you read this, ma? Yes, please read. When 2 person contract with the 3rd person, and now here I definitely want you to write this example somewhere, because இந்த 5 லைனை படிச்சாதான் இங்க என்ன சொல்ல வராங்கன்றத புரியும். ஓகே, in all other places, in other words, it means, it implies அப்படின்னு சொல்லி ஒரு எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷன் கொடுத்துருப்பாங்க. இந்த அந்த எக்ஸ்பிளனேஷனே இல்லை. Please write the example somewhere so that it will be helpful for us. Yes, ready? Okay, going to the next item, discharge of a surety. Discharge meaning enna? Discharge meaning discharge of a contract na enna? Nothing more to perform, or you are relieved from performing. Okay, discharge means nothing more to perform or relieved from performing. When is the discharge of surety possible? When is the surety discharged from the contract? In 3 cases. 1, revocation of contract of guarantee, conduct of the creditor, invalidation of the contract of guarantee. What are the 3 modes of discharge, ma? First one, revocation of contract of guarantee, conduct of the creditor, invalidation of the contract of guarantee. 3 things: revocation of guarantee, conduct of the creditor, invalidation of the contract of guarantee. Now under revocation, what are all the ways in which we could revocate a contract of guarantee? In case of a continuing guarantee, we have to give notice to the creditor. From the moment we give notice, whatever future contracts are going to happen, from all of that future contracts, you are relieved. What happens to the existing contract or contracts which are already running? You are still be under guarantee. Able to understand, ma? Which means now we are standing in the month of April 8th. Yeah? Imagine I am giving notice on 10th of April abdina. 10th of April ku mela whatever is the number of contracts, okay, all of this I am not a guarantee, I am relieved. But whatever contracts that were earlier, okay, until that contract is duly paid or duly performed, I am still responsible, I am still standing as a surety. Able to understand, ma? The continuing guarantee may at any time be revoked by the surety as to future transactions by giving a notice to the creditor. Once the guarantee is revoked, the surety is not liable for any future transaction. However, he is liable for all the transaction that happened before the notice was given. A specific guarantee can be revoked only if the liability to the principal debtor has not accrued. Ma, liability to the principal debtor not accrued na enna artham? We already studied that only if the principal debtor becomes liable and if he defaults that liability, then it will hit the surety, correct? If principal debtor itself does not incur any liability abdina, then where will the surety's liability come? Okay, appo surety eppo liable abdina, first of all principal debtor should become liable, and after becoming liable he should have defaulted that liability. இப்போ principal debtor க்கு liability வரல அப்படின்னா surety also will not be liable even though contract is there. Ma, let me give you an example. Today I am entering into a contract with you. Okay, surety vandu Maha. I am giving you 10 lakhs loan. Ma, everything is there in agreement. Okay, today we are standing on 8th. 15th April, let me give you loan. Good, bad, ugly varda vandircha already. In the 10th movie vartom, I am giving you 10 lakh rupees. Hit na 10 lakh rupees. Okay, now problem is idu hit flop அப்படின்றது என்கிட்ட இல்ல. Correct. It is based on something else. Contingency. Correct. If the contingency happens abdina, I will give you loan, and for that loan who will stand as surety? Maha will stand as surety. Now flop, then what happens? I need not give you money. If I need not give you money abdina, you yourself will not become responsible, you yourself will not become liable itself. Able to understand? Then obviously surety will also be not liable. Understood? Please read ma. In case of exam you will write all ma. You will write all. Continuing guarantee ma, 4 points only there. First, in case of continuing guarantee, it can be revoked anytime. Okay, and that revocation is affecting all the future transactions. Correct? Whatever was the existing transaction, still you are liable. Able to understand? 3 points. In case of specific guarantee, then the liability is not there when the principal debtor itself has not accrued any liability. Now in that meaning of accrued means what? Accrued na what is accrued interest? Accrued interest. Now right now if I see my book, I don't have any interest, but I will know that on March 31st it will accrue. Appo January 31st na iniki ninnalum I should plan for that interest. Able to understand? Likewise, when you say the liability is not accrued, the liability is not there in his head. So principal debtor ke liability accrue agla abdina, then where for surety? Isn't it? Yes. Next one, revocation of continuing guarantee in case of surety's death. Ma, continuing guarantee is still on. It is there, but suddenly this person collapsed, passed away. Now what happens to the continuing guarantee? Obviously dead person cannot give guarantee anymore. Correct? And you cannot make his legal heir responsible. Not possible. But it is affecting only the future transactions. Adhaadu our death aanadhukku aprom whatever is the future transaction, there is no guarantee. What about all the past transactions which happened before the death? Guarantor oda estate or guarantor oda property is liable. Guarantor abdinumodhu surety's property is liable. Now last one is by novation. Novation na enna? We studied 3 things. By mutual consent we can discharge the contract. 4 things we studied. 1, novation, recession, aprom remission. What are the 4 things we saw? Novation, modes of discharge of a contract. Solunga. Discharge of a contract. Solunga. அது நான் சொன்னது, அது இல்லாம வேற சொல்லுங்க. By breach of contract, அப்புறம் effect of அப்புறம் merger of rights, அப்புறம் மறந்துரு வேஸ்ட் எல்லாம். அதுக்கு தான் படிக்கணும்ன்றது. இதே மாதிரி பண்ணீங்கன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்களேன், அடுத்த 2 நாளோட I will cancel all the class. I will not come. Soga I will not come. Partnership also I will not come. What is the intention of coming to class? Waste. If you are not studying at home அப்படின்னா அப்புறம் எதுக்கு கிளாஸ்க்கு வர? வேஸ்ட், வரதே வேஸ்ட். அப்புறம் எதுக்கு தொண்டை தண்ணி வத்து நான் அப்புறம் சொல்லி அப்புறம் ரிப்பீட் பண்ண வச்சு அப்புறம் எழுத வச்சு? Useless. Why at all should I come if you are like this? If I am taking 10 steps abdina, at least I want you to take 5 steps. And the 5 steps கூட நான் எடுக்க மாதிரி உட்கார்ந்த இடத்துல உட்காந்துட்டே இருக்கணும், உட்காந்துட்டே தான் இருக்கணும் லைஃப் ஃபுல்லா. Okay, next one. In case of novation, what are we trying to see? I am not trying to என்ன சொல்றது, cause any inhibitions in you. Okay, அப்படிலாம் நான் சொல்ல வரல. பட் மினிமம் டேக் தட் எஃபர்ட், மினிமம் எஃபர்ட் எடு. நம்ம பாஸ் பண்ணோம், 40 நாள் தான் இருக்கு, 40 நாள் கூட இல்லை, எத்தனை நாள் இருக்கு இன்னும், எத்தனை நாள் இருக்கு, ஹார்ட்லி இந்த 8லேருந்து அடுத்த 8, அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னொரு 8 நாள் இருக்கு, 38 நாள். அந்த 38 நாளில் கேன்சல் ஆல் தோஸ் என்னது எக்ஸாம் டேட்ஸ் எல்லாம் கேன்சல் பண்ணுறேன். எக்ஸாம் டேட்ஸ்னால் இந்த மாடல் எக்ஸாம் அன்றைக்கெலாம் உட்காந்து படிக்க முடியாது, கரெக்டா? அந்த எக்ஸாம் டேட்டெல்லாம் 8 போயிடுச்சுன்னா எத்தனை நாள் இருக்குது, அவ்வளோதான். 8 + 8மா, எக்ஸாம்னா நாளைக்கு எக்ஸாம்னா இன்றைக்கும் எக்ஸாமுக்கு தான் படிப்பீங்க, நீங்கள் கான்செப்ட் உட்காந்து படிக்க போகிறது இல்லை, கரெக்டாக? கான்செப்டை உட்காந்து படித்தா தான் மாடல் எக்ஸாமுக்கே போய் எக்ஸாம் எழுத முடியும். லீவ் ஆல் தோஸ் டேஸ், 16 days கோஸ், 8 + 8 16 days, கரெக்டா? அப்படின்னா ஹார்ட்லி this 22 days only there for your preparation. Imagine 40 நாள் இருக்குன்னு நினைக்காது, 40 நாள் இல்லை, பட் 22 நாள் தான் இருக்கு. அப்படி இப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ணா கூட 25 நாள். இந்த 25 நாள்ல நம்ம என்ன படிக்கிறோமோ அதை வச்சு தான் மாடல் எக்ஸாம், அந்த மாடல் எக்ஸாமை வச்சு தான் மெயின் எக்ஸாம். Don't be lethargic, take it very seriously, take it very seriously. So when I say novation means instead of a old contract, I am substituting the old contract with the new contract. This is called as novation. Recession அப்படினா cancelling the entire contract. Alteration அப்படினா I will do small changes in the existing contract. Novation, I can change the parties to the contract. Alteration, I cannot do that. Remission means reducing the obligation to perform. Able to understand? This is called as remission. Remit the contract. Able to understand? Now, adula novation pathinga kuduthirukanga. See, when I do some novation abdina changes to the contract, wherein inside that change majority of the consideration may change or the parties itself may change. Abdinum modu what happens to the surety? He is also discharged out of the contract because the old contract is now substituted with the new contract. Therefore there's a high possibility that he is also discharged. Next one, conduct of the creditor. Variance in the terms. Variance means what? Differences. Now when I came in as a surety, I have to know what are all the terms and conditions of the contract. If you are changing any of the terms and conditions of the contract, that also can be done only with my consent. If you are changing on your own likes and dislikes abdina, then as a surety let me be discharged. Avladha. Okay, so in case you are doing any variance in the terms of the contract, then who will be discharged? Surety will be discharged. Release or discharge of principal debtor. Now as a surety, first as a creditor, your first person to be hold off is your principal debtor. If you are relieving him, then relieve me also. Able to understand? The surety is discharged if the creditor enters into a fresh or a new contract with the principal debtor, which means old contract is discharged. Old contract discharged abdina surety is also discharged. Or if the creditor does any act or omission, legal consequences of which discharge of principal debtor. Now for example, he did not get proper signature from the principal debtor. Okay, in that case whether the contract will be valid? No. If suppose he has done something to the principal creditor and he has made the principal debtor to enter into contract by coercion, undue influence, fraud, misrepresentation, whether it will have any legal effect? No. Obviously when there is no legal effect and the principal is relieved abdina, obviously surety will also be relieved. Able to understand? Next one, discharge of surety when creditor compounds with, gives time or agrees to sue principal debtor. Agrees not to sue. Now what is the meaning of compounds with? Compounding of offense adala padichom. What is the meaning of compounding of an offense? An offense which can be adjusted with paying a penalty, that is called as compounding of an offense. Which offense cannot be compounded? Criminal offenses, correct? Which offense can be compounded? Any offense for which jail is an option. See, you can either be imprisoned for 6 months or you have to pay 50,000 fine. Now any offense that comes with the fine as an option in place of jail, imprisonment, is called of compoundable offense. Okay, compound meaning adha, correct? Now when I say creditor is compounding or compounding na, see, he's changing something in the contract. He's compounding na, he's adjusting something for the principal debtor. Abdina, let the surety be relieved. Okay, if the creditor makes a composition with the principal debtor without consulting the surety, the latter is discharged. Only two lines you can write if at all they ask. Next one, if the creditor gives extra time na nama. See, I am supposed to repay within 1 year. By the end of 1 year, principal debtor is not able to repay, and this creditor is giving 6 months extra. Correct? Does it impact only the principal debtor, or it will impact although the surety? Original contract is for 1 year only, but you are extending for another 6 months. In whose permission you did? My guarantee is only for 1 year, so I will stand according to that. If you are increasing time, that should be within my consent. If you are doing without my consent, then I cannot stand as surety for the next 6 months. Able to understand? So without the permission, if the creditor is giving extra time also, then still the surety will be discharged. And then last, promise not to sue. What is the meaning of sue? Taking that person to the court. Taking that person to the court. இப்போ அந்த principal debtor proper repay பண்ணல அப்படினா, what is the legal effect that I can do? Legal solution. I can take him to the court of law, isn't it? But imagine that principal debtor is my relative. Will I take him to the court? No, usually. But even though I have a legal solution, I am promising the debtor that I will not take you to court. Okay, now when you can do such a promise to the principal debtor, let me be relieved. Able to understand? Avanuku nee soft corner kampa, enakku vandu na surety I should be liable. Why should I be liable? Isn't it? If you are giving such a promise that you will not sue the principal debtor, then obviously the surety will be relieved or discharged. Okay. Cases where surety is not discharged. See, in all the below cases, surety will not be discharged. That's the first item. Surety is not discharged when the agreement made with third person to give time to principal debtor. Let me give you this with an example. What happens is, let me take the same example which is given here. C is the holder of overdue bill of exchange drawn by A. What do you mean by that? A draws a bill on C. Drawing bill of exchange means what? What is a bill of exchange? I order you to make payment to so and so, correct? Now, what do you mean by overdue bill of exchange? It has become due. Due date tandidichu. Overdue bill of exchange, correct? Now, what is the purpose of bill of exchange? I order you to pay. It can be paid to me or my order, correct? Now, on the due date, amount due date vara anniki, either he can pay to me or na in the bill yaarukku kuduthirukona avarukku pay பண்ணுவாங்க, correct? Now what happens here is, A is the person on whom bill is drawn and A draws the bill. He is the drawer of the bill. Okay, drawer. And once he draws the bill, he will give the bill to C. It has to mature. Say for example, maturity is 3 months. Now what I will do is, meantime I have to settle Mr. M. Able to understand? M is giving goods to A, and in turn, for example, let us assume that, in my simpler example yosikkalam, let us assume M is the wholesaler. Wholesaler kitta the goods A vaangararu, A is a retailer, and retailer kitta the C goods vaangararu, he is the consumer. Able to understand? Now for this goods, A has drawn a bill to C and C has to honor the bill by paying it to A or A's order, correct? Now what A does is, he transfers the bill to M. Appo A's order yaru? M, correct? When the bill matures, automatically C has to make payment to M. Yes or no? Because right now who's the holder of the bill? Mr. M. Mr. M is the holder of the bill. Now இந்த இடத்துல bill has become mature, அதனால ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. பட் நம்ம இதுக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன படிச்சோம்னா, if the creditor gives extra time, if the creditor gives extra time, then what happens to the contract? The contract comes to the, which contract comes to an end? Guarantee contract comes to an end. But இந்த இடத்துல என்ன ஆகுது அப்படின்னா, A is not directly giving any extra time. Through M, who's M? Actually he is the holder of the bill. M, through M he is giving extra time to C. Okay, M is the third party now. M is the third party. Through third party, he has requested M for an extra time, and that extra time benefit is now enjoyed by C abdina. In this place, still the surety's guarantee is still valid. Okay, that is what they have given here. Let us read. Where a contract to give extra time to the principal debtor is made by the creditor with a third person, and not with the principal debtor himself directly, then the surety is not discharged. Why? Because we already studied, if the creditor directly gives extra time to the principal debtor, then the surety is discharged. But in this case, the creditor is directly, the creditor is indirectly giving extra time through a third person. In this case, the surety is not discharged. Next one, creditor's forbearance to sue does not discharge the surety. What is the meaning of forbearance? Forbearance na enna? Where did we come across this word? Offer or a definition la paathom. Doing something or forbearing to do paathom. Nyabarga. Forbearing means holding back. Okay. Now if the creditor, instead of going and filing the case immediately on the due date, due date nethu you have not made the payment, let me go and file the case today, which means he is enforcing the law against that person. Yes or no? But if he is forbearing himself, holding himself back from filing the case abdina, even in this case the surety is not discharged. Okay, creditor's forbearance to sue does not discharge the surety. Mere forbearance on the part of the creditor to sue the principal or to enforce any other remedy against him does not, in the absence of any provision in the guarantee contract, discharge the surety. Appo we have time limit for receiving the repayment of loan. What is the time limit? 3 years. Okay, which means இன்னைக்கு நான் லோனை வாங்கி அந்த டியூ டேட்குள்ளே ரீபே பண்ணல அப்படின்னா நெக்ஸ்ட் 3 இயர்ஸ்க்குள்ளே எனி டைம் ஹூ கேன் என்ஃபோர்ஸ் ஆன் மீ? creditor can enforce on the principal debtor. Correct? Now in the 3 years அப்படின்றது he is waiting. Correct? Isn't it? This 3 years is a forbearance period. Yes or no? Yes or no? Even though I forbear myself from filing the suit against the principal debtor, still it does not mean that the guarantor is relieved. Able to understand? You know, within that 3 years, anytime I can enforce on you. But after 3 years, whether it is possible? No. After 3 years, no one can be held liable. Neither the principal debtor nor the surety will be liable. Last one, discharge of surety by creditor's act of omission impairing surety's eventual remedy. Now, இதுக்கு முன்னாடி நான் ஒரு டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணும்போது நான் ஒரு எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்லியிருந்தேன் இல்லையா? See, as a creditor, I have taken your surety as well as I have taken the security from the land document. Once I received the amount, repaid the amount, who repays? Surety repays my amount. What happens to the land security document? Should I repay to the principal debtor? No, I should not repay. Why? Because this surety takes my shoes. Whose shoes? Creditor's shoes. Whatever security that I am having, I should give it to the surety holder. Surety. Correct? This surety will take the powers of the creditor and enforce against the principal debtor to recover the amount. If this creditor, instead of giving the agreement, gives back the agreement to the principal debtor abdina, what is the hold left for the surety? Nothing is there. Then the surety will be discharged from the contract. Able to understand? Okay, let us see what example is given here. A bank granted a loan on the security of stock in the godown. Okay, so who is the creditor here, ma? Bank. Okay, the loan was also guaranteed by a surety. Surety is also there. Cherry. The goods were lost from the godown on account of negligence of the bank. The surety was discharged to the extent of value of the stock so lost. Now what happens here is, listen. So bank is giving loan to PD. Okay, PD, say for example 50 lakhs. This 50 lakhs, he has two options. Surety kittandu sign vaangurudhu, then security. Security, what he has got, ma? Stock. Where is the stock located? In the godown. Okay, now when I give something as a security, that person, the creditor, should manage the security, should have good care of the security. For example, ma, neenga gold loan vaangringa, correct? Gold bank la kondu poi vekkringa, and the gold enga vera veppangala illa adukku oru safety locker iruka? Safety locker, correct? Now it becomes the responsibility of the banker for the safeguarding of the assets. One, on repayment he has to give back the property. If the person is not repaying abdina, you have to sell off the property to fetch the amount, isn't it? For these two reasons. Now when I say this PD has defaulted abdina, this debtor will collect from whom? Security. Security, surety will give 50 lakhs to the creditor, correct? Now for this, what in turn he will get? He will has to get the security of the stock, isn't it? Yes or no? Now in case due to the negligence of the bank officials, 50 lakhs worth of stock, 50 lakhs worth of stock la 10 lakhs lost abdina, my surety, my security amount reduces from 50 to 40, correct? Appo when I have to pay to the banker, I will not pay for 50, I will pay only 40, because the banker has released me to security only of 40 lakhs. 10 lakhs worth of security is lost, it is impaired due to whom? Banker's negligence, which means creditor oda negligence, correct? If because of the creditor's negligence there is any impairation happens to the security, then the surety who takes the position of the creditor will have to go through the loss. Why should I bear the loss? Whatever is the negligence that you have caused, loss due to negligence, I will reduce it from the amount that I will pay. Able to understand? Keep that in mind. Let us go and read what is given in the book. Yes, ma, read. If the creditor wait. If the creditor does any act which is inconsistent with the rights of the surety. Ma, inconsistent means, see, if I am giving you a security abdina, you should take proper care. Okay, if you are taking proper care, then you are doing your job rightly, correct? You also have to take care of the godown, I also should take care of the godown. If any problem arises due to me, then I have to bear the loss. If any problem arises to you, you have to bear the loss. If you are not doing this, then you are inconsistent in nature. Okay, read. Does any act which is inconsistent with the rights of the surety, or omits to do any act which is his duty to the surety requires him to do, and the eventual remedy of the surety against the principal debtor is impaired, the surety is discharged. The surety is discharged. Shall we write it in a better format, or you want to write it just like this? We will start right. We'll start from here and end it here. Okay, in between they have striked out 1 or 2 lines. Please take note. Read now, ma. Read now. Look at the board, look at the screen and please read now. If the creditor does any act which is inconsistent with the rights of the surety and eventual remedy of the surety against the principal debtor is impaired, the surety is discharged. You are able to relate the example which I told and what you are reading here? Good. Next one, by the invalidation of contract of guarantee. If the guarantee is obtained using misrepresentation, okay, it becomes invalid. If the guarantee is obtained by concealment, it becomes invalid. Guarantee on a contract that creditor shall not act on it until co-surety joins. This we are doing for the first time. I've already studied. Which means the surety is imposing a condition. What condition? Only if a joint surety joins, I am entering into a contract of guarantee abdina, that guarantee contract will take effect only if that co-surety joins. Okay. If it does not join, contract will not be valid. The surety is not responsible. Next one, rights of a surety. As a surety, what rights I have? First one with respect to creditor, principal debtor and co-surety. Rights of subrogation. Subrogation means stepping into the shoes of the creditor. Once I repay as a surety, I have to make the make up for the loss. Correct? Whose loss? Principal debtor, he defaults it. Because of that, the creditor is impairing getting any loss abdina, then I have to repay the amount. Correct? Who has to repay? Surety has to repay the amount. In this case, once I repay the amount to the creditor, what is there left for me? What is there left for me? I have to get the amount repaid from the principal debtor, because there is an implied contract between the principal debtor and the surety. Now, this surety will step into the shoes of the creditor, and whatever security that creditor had will be handed over to the surety. Okay, so it is the obligation of the creditor to give the security to the surety, and the surety's right to receive the security. My example, that land document, it is the obligation of the whom? Creditor to give the land document to the surety. Okay, so that the surety can recover the amount from the principal debtor. This is nothing but surety steps into the shoes of the creditor. Okay. Please read, where a guaranteed debtor has become due or default of principal debtor to perform the guaranteed duty has taken place. Just that default by principal debtor takes place. The surety, upon payment or performance of all that he is liable, is invested with all the rights which the creditor had against the principal debtor. Okay, to make it much more simpler, where a guaranteed debt has become due or defaulted by the principal debtor, shall I erase and write from first? Has become due and defaulted by the principal debtor, the surety, upon payment of all that he is liable, is invested is given with all the rights which the creditor had against the principal debtor, which means the surety steps into the shoes of the creditor. Yes, ready please read please read. Where a guaranteed debt, please read everyone, has become due or defaulted by the principal debtor, the surety, upon payment of all that he is liable for, is invested with all rights which the creditor had against the principal debtor, which means surety steps into the shoes of the creditor. Implied promise to indemnify the surety. We already studied there's an implied contract between the principal debtor and the surety. Now, in every contract of guarantee, there's an implied promise by principal debtor to indemnify the surety. The surety is entitled to recover from the principal debtor whatever sum he has rightfully paid under the guarantee, but not sums which he paid wrongfully. Now, what is more important is the last two lines, adhaadu from here to here. If at all for exam also, you will write from here to here. Now, what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? The surety can recover from the principal debtor whatever sum he has paid rightfully to the creditor. Now, what is this rightful payment, wrongful payment? Actual loan, whatever is the actual loan that he has to pay, okay. What is his wrongful payment? No, because of him there's an extra damage that has happened because of the surety. Okay, without the involvement of the principal debtor, then who has to bear that loss? Surety only has to bear that loss. Ma'am, give me example. Ma, unga bookle or nalla example kuduthirukanga. Let us see. B is indebted to C, which means C is giving a loan to B. Okay, and A will act as a surety. Correct? Surety. Upon default, C sues A. Ma, upon default na yaroda default ma? B's default. C wants to recover the amount from A and he is suing A. Suing means A means taking him to the court of law. Now, once you are taken into the court of law, what you should ideally do? If you feel like you have some justice on your side, you have some valid point on your side abdina, then you can step forward and defend. Yeah, illa abdina enna pannom? அமைதியா அவங்க என்ன சொல்றாங்களோ அதை செஞ்சுட்டு போயிடணும். கரெக்ட்? இந்த இடத்துல there's no valid. Two options are there. ஒன்னு, மிஸ்டர் ஏ, அதாவது surety is having a proper point to defend himself. Example. Sir, C gave a loan to B for 10% interest, but now he is filing a case for 12% recovery interest. Able to understand? Is this favorable or is this justifiable? No. Ipo evlo he can recover from A? Whatever is the loan amount plus 10%. He cannot recover 12%. Is this a valid point to defend? Yes, this is a valid point to defend. Appo in the court la in the case yaar defend பண்ணுவா? Mr. A. Now in the defend பண்றதுக்கு he will incur all charges. What all charges? Filing charges, அதுக்கப்புறம் வந்து இதுதான் நம்ம ரைட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த ஷூரிட்டி அப்படின்னு படித்தோம். டு ரிகவர், ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன் டேமேஜஸ் ஆன் சூட். ஓகே, செகண்ட் ஒன் காஸ்ட் ஆன் பிரிங்கிங் அண்ட் டிஃபெண்டிங் த சூட். தேர்ட் ஒன் ஆல் சம்ஸ் ஃபார் காம்ப்ரமைஸ். கரெக்டா? இதெல்லாம் யார் வாங்கலாம்? ஷூரிட்டி வாங்கலாம். யார்கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கலாம்? பிரின்சிபல் டெட்டார் கிட்ட இருந்து வாங்கலாம். இப்போ படிக்கிற எக்ஸாம்பிள்ல திஸ் இஸ் ஆக்சுவலி அ ப்ராப்ளம் which is very much unjustified. Therefore, A is trying to file a case and defend him. Correct? In the expenses alone, he can definitely recover from principal debtor. Sure? Now, let us think of another possibility wherein there was no problem at all. See, interest was 10% and when C is filing the case, he is also asking for loan plus 10% only. Is there any valid point for A to defend or make it a big problem? No. But still he is involving so much time, effort, pressure and asking lawyers to come in and try to defend himself. இதெல்லாம் பண்ணும்போது there's loss of money involved because of whose mistake? Surety ஓட mistake. பிரின்சிபல் இதில் இன்வால்வே ஆகல. யார் கேஸ் போடுறது? ஷூரிட்டி தான் கேஸ் போடுவார். ஆனால் நீங்கள் கேஸ் போடுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் யூ ஹேவ் டு திங்க் வெதர் யூ ஹேவ் சம்திங் டு டிஃபெண்ட். யூ ஹேவ் நத்திங் டு டிஃபெண்ட். யூ ஹேவ் டு ஜஸ்ட் அபாய்ட் பை தி லா. பட் ஸ்டில் யூ ஆர் டேக்கிங் an effort to avoid the problem and filing a case. இப்போ இந்த கேஸ், இந்த ப்ராப்ளம்லாம் comes with a cost, isn't it? This money, can you take it from the principal debtor? No. Because all these are extra cost which are coming because of you. Surety nala. Okay, surety, if you are filing a case, you should be backed with some proper authenticated or proper reason. If you don't have a reason, why you have to go file a case and incur so much extra cost? Yeah, all that extra cost are wrongful cost. Okay, you cannot recover from the principal debtor. Only rightful amount can be recovered from the principal debtor. Next one, right against the creditor. Surety's right to benefit of creditor's securities. Just like already discussed, the moment surety pays back the creditor all his liability, he has the benefit. What benefit? Creditor should pass the security benefit to the surety. And receiving this security benefit is whose right? Surety order right. Surety order right. Right na? No one can deny it. No one can deny it. For example, we are all citizens of India, correct? We all have the right to speak, illaya? Abdi nammano, correct? Now, if someone is stopping us from talking abdina, then we are denied our right. We can file a case against the court of law, isn't it? Likewise, as soon as the surety pays the amount back to the creditor, it becomes the right of the surety to take the security from creditor. Whatever security benefit he enjoyed, I should get now. Example, land document. Okay. Next one, right to set off. This is quite an important one. What is right to set off? Set off means enna? Adjust பண்றது, கரெக்டா? Example, BK takes a loan from JK. BK takes a loan from JK, say for example 50,000 rupees, correct? Now JK did not pay the fees for the class so far. Okay, now what happened is BK paid 3,000 plus 3,000 on behalf of JK, correct? Now can he set off while paying? Yes, set off பண்ணிட்டு when he is repaying, what amount he'll pay? He'll pay only 47, correct? Appo when the creditor and the principal debtor can set off abdina, surety can also set off. Able to understand? Appo இந்த இடத்துல if a surety is standing, last 5 minutes please listen, okay? BK, JK, Maha. Okay, Maha is the surety. Now JK gives BK 50k as loan. Now when repayment, he has to pay 50k plus 5,000 as interest. Okay, reasonable. Okay, this is the terms and conditions. These are nothing but the terms and conditions of the contract. Now this was agreed and Maha becomes the surety. Now this person is defaulting the payment, but one good thing which he did was 3k plus 3k he paid. 3k for himself and 3k for JK as fees for class. Correct? Now when this person has defaulted, who will be the next target for JK? Maha. Okay, now when Maha is asked to pay, whether Maha will be paying entire 50,000 or she also can take the advantage of set off. She also can take the advantage of set off, which means out of this 50k plus 5k, 55,000, she can set off the 3,000 and balance 52 only will be paid to JK. Able to understand? This is called as right of set off. Clear? Next one, right to share reduction. See, share reduction abdina, in case if the principal debtor becomes insolvent, then in that case what can happen? Let us see with the example. Let us go with the example which is given in the book. Y gives a loan for 50,000 rupees, which is guaranteed by Z. Surety yarpa Z. Okay, X has become insolvent. Only 25% is realized from the property against his liabilities. Now Y will receive 12,500. When you become insolvent, what they will do is they will take all your assets. They will try to sell off all your assets and out of the proceeds they will give proportionate amount. Able to understand? அப்படி calculate பண்ணும்போது உங்களோட assets வித்தா எல்லாருக்கும் 25% of the liability only can be settled. Okay, அப்போ 25% on 50,000 is nothing but 12,500. So out of your assets straight away 12,500 will go. Okay, and then balance how much surety should pay? 50,000 minus 12,000, 37,500 only she will pay. Okay, she has the right to reduce the share. Able to understand? Last one, right against co-sureties. Co-surety na yarma, the person who stands along with me as a surety, he is also liable, I am also liable. Very important area for exam. Usually questions are coming up from here. In case of co-surety, they are liable to contribute equally. Abdina enna artham? In case of default of the principal debtor, whatever is the default amount, 50-50 each of us will bear. Okay. Second option, liability of co-sureties bound in different sum. Equally abdina 3 lakhs default, 1.5 lakhs, 1.5 lakhs. But if at all I am ready to come as a surety, but I can stand as surety only up to this much abdi neenga or contract la mention panna mudiyum. You can set limits for your guarantee, correct? Now if at all imagine people are setting, 3 people are coming and 3 people are having different guarantee amounts, how they can recover what is the possibility to recover from each one of them? That is what we will be studying here. The principle of equal contribution is, however, subject to maximum limit fixed by a surety to his liability. I already told you, as a surety I can fix my maximum limit. Let us see with the example given here. A, B, C act as sureties for D. Enter into 3 several bonds, each in different penalty. Different penalty is nothing but different limits. In the limit, what is the limit of their guarantee? Limit A in the penalty of 1 lakh, limit is 1 lakh, B that of 2 lakhs and C that of 4 lakhs, conditioned for D's duly accounting to E. Now what happens here is D, E. Okay, in between D and E there are 3 people, A, B and C. A is guaranteeing for 1 lakh, B is guaranteeing for 2 lakhs, C is guaranteeing for 4 lakhs. Now what is the contract between E and D is, D should properly account for E. Proper accounting na enna martham? See, enna nambi neenga orthanga velaiku edunga sonna edupingla? That is how recommendations work. Recommendation na enna? Enna nambi neenga ivarku vela kudukalaanu artham, correct? Imagine these 3 people are going and standing as surety for D, okay, for employment with E. What is the work given to him? He should properly account for the cash. Cash handle பண்றது ரொம்ப critical, கரெக்டா? அப்போ அந்த இடத்துல தெரியாத ஒரு பர்சன் நான் வைக்க முடியாது. அதுக்கு தான் I will ask for recommendation, I will ask for a guarantor. Able to understand? அப்படி guarantee பண்றதுக்காக யார் வந்திருக்காங்கன்னா A, B and C, correct? Let us say this person D embezzles cash. Embezzles na enna? Embezzles na enna? Takes away, swindles. Okay, embezzles cash to the extent of 5 lakhs. 5 lakhs rupees எடுத்துட்டு ஓடிட்டான், கரெக்டா? Now நான் தான் surety. அப்போ who has to bear the loss? Surety has to bear the loss. But நான் ஒரே ஒரு பர்சனாக இருந்தால் entire 5 lakhs I have to pay. But இங்கே problem என்னன்னா 3 people are there. Let it be 3 people. அதுவுமே ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை. எப்போனா all 3 people sharing equally. 5 lakhs divided by 3, each person should be paying somewhere between 75 to 85,000. It will be solved, correct? But in here what happens? Sorry ma, more than that they will be paying around 1.7 something they will be paying, correct? But in here what happens is each of the sureties are having different guarantee limits. Now first case 5 lakhs abdina, what maximum it should be done now? Out of 5 lakhs, first 1 lakh will be taken from all of them, correct? 3 lakhs settled aidcha. balance 2 lakhs irka, in the 2 lakhs will be shared between this person and this person. Able to understand? Clear? Okay? Even though, see, ingiyume equal da share பண்றாங்க 1 plus 1 plus 1, ingiyume equal da share பண்றாங்க 1 plus 1, but இந்த இடத்துல A is relieved. Able to understand? Because his limit is maximum set and accomplished, fully used. Clear? Okay? Shall we go to the book? Please read now. Please read now. அவங்க ரெண்டு பேருக்கு தான் வாய் இருக்கா? Okay, the principle of equal contribution is, however, subject to principle of equal contribution. All the sureties should contribute equally. Abdinra principle we have a limitation. What is that limitation? It is a maximum limit fixed by the surety to his liability, subject to the maximum limit fixed by a surety to his liability. Co-sureties who are bound in different sums are liable to pay equally as far as the limits of their respective obligations permit. In all cases we should share it equally only, but that sharing should be maximum of what limit they have guaranteed. Able to understand? Please go through all 3 examples. If we have doubt, we will discuss now. If not, we will close the class. Please go through all 3 examples. I already told you the first example. First example solla நம்ம எல்லாமே டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம்னு நினைக்கிறேன். சரி, one more time I'll say. Now, D defaults to the extent of 3 lakhs. Default happens, default to the extent of only 3 lakhs. What happens in this case? And the 3 lakhs will be shared equally, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. This is the first case. Correct? Second case, what happens? Let us go and see. Second case, what happens? This is 3 lakhs. This is 3 lakhs is the default, and that 3 lakhs is compensated by all the 3 people, and in respect of it, to the maximum limit he is there to contribute. Okay? Second option D has defaulted to the extent of 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs. Okay? Now what happens here is, see, 4 lakhs abdina, first 3 lakhs will be settled this way. Correct? Correct? Now what happens to the balance 1 lakh? That also will be done 50-50. Appo in total how much will be the contribution? 1 lakh, 1.5 lakhs, 1.5 lakhs. Able to understand? Next one, same thing applies. Same thing applies. In the edathila D has defaulted 7 lakhs. 7 lakhs abdina, how you can do? How you can do? A, B, C, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 4 lakhs. In first case, 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Second case, 1 lakh and 1 lakh. Third case, 1 lakh. Even in this case also, maximum equally they have shared the losses to their respective limits. Clear? Yes. This is called as liability of co-sureties bound in different sums. Now, all these will not be asked as direct questions, but case law kind of questions will come. Abdiya, in that term. Abdiya. Now, pathadilla maybe right against Kerta they'll ask. Adra no doubt. But this no, maximum I have seen this being asked as a case law kind of question. Okay? At that place, you should be able to reciprocate what they have given in the provision. This we don't have, even though it is confusing, still we have to write it only. Okay, let us see how we can cut short on this. If you write the last 2 lines, it is okay. But on the last 2 lines, எனக்கு கஷ்டமா இருக்கு அப்படினீங்கன்னா ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. You have to read and study. There is no other go. Read it 2 times, you will get it. You will get it definitely. Done? Comfortable? under surety and indemnity, what are we studying? Different areas we are studying. One, indemnity. Indemnity means covering the losses. The person who covers the loss is called as indemnifier. The person to whom the loss is covered is called as indemnified. Okay, now this loss can happen through only two possibilities, one by the promisor himself or through any other person. In this case, in case see what Tulasi doubt was, she was asking abdina, in case the loss is 10 lakhs vechukongla, default is 10 lakhs, correct? But maximum limit these people have taken is only 1 plus 2 plus 4. In this case, to their maximum, if they contribute also, they can contribute only 7 lakhs, correct? Then what happens to the extra 3 lakhs? Creditor only has to bear the loss. There's no other option. Okay, because he has received guarantee only to the extent of 7 lakhs from 3 people. Maximum he can recover only 7 lakhs. That 3 lakhs will be a loss to the creditor, no other go. Next we went on to study about guarantee. Under guarantee, 3 people are involved. First person will be the creditor, principal, debtor, surety. Creditor, principal, debtor, surety. Now in case of a guarantee, what are the 3 types of contract that are there? First one is called as the principal contract, which is between the creditor and the principal debtor. Secondary contract, which is between the creditor and the surety. Implied contract between the principal, debtor and the surety. Now next we went on to understand what are the features of a guarantee. First, it should have a purpose. Purpose is nothing but to secure, to safeguard. What is the meaning of secure? To safeguard, S-A-F-E, safeguard the payment of any debt. I will put a person as a surety, correct? This is the purpose of a guarantee. Next, it should have a valid consideration. Now, when in case of the main contract there is consideration, in case of a secondary contract between creditor and the surety, actually there is no consideration that the surety receives directly. If the loan is given to the principal debt, that itself is assumed as a consideration for the surety. Next one, we went on to understand what? Existence of a liability, which means there should be a liability on the principal debtor. Only then that liability will take effect on the surety. If the principal debtor itself is not liable, then where comes the liability for surety? So there should be an existence of a liability, and that liability should be enforceable by law. No misrepresentation or concealment. If at all, if there's misrepresentation or concealment that has been done by the creditor to secure the guarantee abdina, then what happens to the guarantee? It becomes invalid. Writing is not necessary. Joining of co-sureties. Now in case of joining of co-sureties, what did we study? In case of a guarantee contract, if the surety puts a condition that only if another person joins as a co-surety, I can join abdina, then such a guarantee contract will take effect only if that other person joins as a co-surety. And then we went on to understand types of guarantee. Adila 2 types were there. First one, specific guarantee, continuing guarantee. Specific guarantee is a one-time item only for one transaction, whereas continuing guarantee is for a series of transactions. Usually it goes for a period. Okay, it goes for a period or so. Okay. Now in case of next we went on to understand extent of surety's liability. To what extent surety will be liability? Adula first item is liability of the surety is co-extensive to the liability of the principal. If the principal is asked to pay interest also, then the surety will also have to pay loan plus interest, unless otherwise a contrary is given to the contract. Then liability of the surety is secondary in nature, which means first it will be asked to the principal for payment, then if he defaults, it comes to me. Debtor cannot be held liable on account of any defect in the document, then the liability also ceases, which means if the debtor cannot, debtor na yarma, principal debtor, if the principal debtor cannot be enforced abdina, obviously the surety will also be discharged. Okay, the creditor may choose to proceed against the surety first. It is well within the possibility, provided it is there in the agreement. Then this liability of two persons are there. That you will study, I know. Apro, discharge of surety. Under discharge we saw three types. One, revocation, conduct of creditors, then invalidation. Now under revocation of guarantee, in what all methods we can revoke? One, revocation of continuing guarantee. When you revoke a continuing guarantee, it will be revoked only in case of future transaction. Whatever happened in the previous days, you are still liable. Your guarantee is still perfect with respect to all your past activities. In case of a specific guarantee, you can revoke it before the principal debtor. Liability accrues on the principal debtor. This word liability accrues is very important. Okay, you can rewrite it also. Can be revoked before accrual of any liability on the principal debtor. You can slightly rephrase it and write. Next one, revocation of, this one we saw on surety's death. In case if his death abdina, all future transaction guarantee will not support. All the previous transaction guarantee is still valid, and those guarantee will be satisfied using the assets or estate of the guarantor or surety. Next one, by novation. Novation means what, ma? Old contract is substituted with the new contract. Then conduct of the creditor, if he is varying the terms of the contract without the consent of the surety, then the surety is discharged. Release or discharge of principal debtor. See, if you are planning to release the principal debtor itself, then still the surety will be discharged. Or if you are having no legal consequence on the principal debtor, still the surety will be discharged. Next one, discharge of surety happens when there is a composition and some terms are changed, or if the creditor gives more time, or if the creditor decides not to sue the principal debtor. In all these three conditions, which are straight directly given by the creditor to the principal debtor, in all the three positions, what happens? Surety's contract comes to an end. Then we went on to study in what cases surety's contract will not be discharged. Adula rendu paathom. First one, time is given, but it is given through a third person abdina, then surety's contract will not be discharged. Adhe pola, if the creditor forbears himself, holds him back from filing a case against the principal debtor nalum, even in that case also the surety's liability is not discharged. Then we went on to understand in case of creditor's activity of omitting or impairing the surety's eventual remedy. Read this alone, please read. If the creditor rights of the surety and eventual remedy of the surety against the principal debtor is impaired, instead of impaired is repaired, is lost, is damaged, and the mari vaarthala use pannada. Impaired na impaired mattum. Okay, impaired, then the surety is discharged. Then by invalidation of contract, which is nothing but what, misrepresentation or concealment. Then guarantee on a contract that the creditor shall not act. This we have already studied, which means the guarantee contract will not take place until the co-surety joins. Okay, and who has to put up this condition? Surety. Okay, until then the contract will not be possible, valid. Next, right of surety against creditor, principal debtor and co-surety. Now in case of a creditor, what right he has? He has the right of subrogation. In short, what is the meaning of the word? stepping into the shoes of the creditor, stepping into the shoes of the creditor. Then implied promise to indemnify the surety. Then right against creditor, what we have? Surety's right to benefit the creditor's security. This creditor will have some security, land document, gold, jewelry, adumari. Now once this liability is settled by the surety to the creditor, then the surety has the right to take that security benefit from the creditor. And then right of set off. Set off na இன்னொரு வாட்டி சொல்லணும்னு அவசியம் இல்லைல்ல. Good. Then right to share reduction also, there's a proportionate claim can be taken. Then right against co-sureties. Now in case of default by the principal debtor, co-sureties have to contribute equally. Okay, if there is no guarantee limit set, or if the guarantee limit is same abdinalo, they can share the losses equally. If the guarantee limit is different from one person to the other, in case of different co-sureties, then what should be done? Liable to pay equally as far as the limits of their respective obligations permit. Okay, idukku examples padichuko nyabam vechuko, ena this English is quite difficult for you. Even if I try to do some alteration also, it is very difficult. If I change the phrase na, it will mean something different. And the risk edukka vedam. Okay, so read as it is given in the exam. Sorry I took 20 minutes extra. Please forgive. Thank you. Bye. 2 o'clock sharp next class. Thank you. Bye ma. Thank you ma.